It's time to earn our pay. It's time to meet the people on the Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today.
Why do we always listen?
Keeler's always in the know.
It makes me want to call him
And tell him where to go.
And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 1069 FM. This is Keeler.
What a long weekend. What a great weekend, but what a long weekend. Wow. Five, I would even call them oversold shows for Jimmy Fallon. You know, because nobody wanted to be out. And there were just so many people that we ended up having to turn away. But he had a great weekend. 5 shows. Had his wife and kid up here. Lincoln was a big hit.
Yes, he was.
And Davey was a hit.
Davey's always a hit, though. Well, Smitty's going to hop on Mike in here.
I got to tell you, he was a hit. Davey, you were a hit. You were the grand introducer over the weekend.
Well, thank you very much.
So you hung, you ate, you broke bread with the entire family. You had you had a good seat.
Yes, I did. And thank you for letting me be part of the experience.
Well, I'm glad you weren't. Saved it from, I didn't have to do it.
Well, let me say thank you for that opportunity as well. But coming up at 8:30, we'll be joined by Jimmy, who's announcing he's adopting Davey as part of his family now.
That's right. It's
kidding,
official.
He's really coming on today?
No. I'm just kidding. We figured we'd give him a little chance to decompress and get ready for his own radio show coming up later today.
And, I think that he may have been on like last night on some program, back on today. He is a busy guy. He's on show after show after show. He now has a regular schedule. So he is regularly scheduled to be on all these shows.
Oh, good for him. He is incredibly funny. He is always on. And one of the things, it's great because obviously he's a comedian, so he's funny. And obviously he's talented. He's got a national radio show and he's on a national network constantly. Although I guess if that's the criteria, I mean, you could say people like, Don Lemon aren't actually that talented. I'm just kidding. We can talk about that, right?
Yeah, like he's, I guess he'll be back on today, but he wasn't on, making some, I don't even think the comments, he's talking about when women are in their prime. I guess you could look at that technically. I'm sure there's somewhere online, which I don't even know why he's Googling that. Must be because
can we talk about
Nikki
this?
Haley must have said, and I think she did, how about electing somebody in their prime as opposed, and she's comparing it to the two old guys, Biden and Trump. And Don Lemon apparently must have looked up when is a woman in her prime, because Nikki Haley, I think, is like 53 or something like that.
Yeah.
And
maybe 51, yeah.
And
whatever.
apparently a woman in her prime is, and really when you probably look at this technically, it's looked at when they are prime for giving birth to children, the best optimal age, right?
Thank you. I'm so glad you said this. All right. Yeah, if I've never heard of really even a man, unless you're talking about his athletic performance in pro sports.
I have definitely looked up when is a man in his prime, and you'll get there. You're there now, most likely, right, based on age. But once you get 50, it's like it's all over. You're looking it up. But this is different. He's looking it up. I don't know. It's just,
in context to what? Reproduction, attractiveness, strength?
No. You're looking at when are you at the prime of your life? You hear somebody say prime of your life, and you're like, I wonder what prime of your life really is. We Google a lot of things. My wife tells me to stop. Don't Google how to get rid of a body, because you never know if you were ever caught up in, falsely charged with some crime, they could look it up and say, see, of course he did it. He was looking lime up, how to get rid of a body, how to allow a body to decompose without anybody noticing it. I think that's it. But why? Why? And then he said it on the program as he smacked in between two women. Now that he's been moved to this new slot, Don Lemon. But I think that what's even worse is how uncomfortable he looks sitting there. He is now a part of a team where he had his own show. It was Don Lemon's show. Now he's part of a morning program.
Right. Well, he won't have that problem for much longer.
I don't think so. And I think the way that he looks at them and reacts to them, I think, and the lack of chemistry, that's worse than anything else.
Okay, so whatever leads into it, if you've seen the video, he puts his hands on his hips, leans back in his chair, and says, well, whatever. And then what he said about Nikki Haley, that she's not in her prime. And the woman to his right says, in regard to what exactly? Which is, I think, where I was going with, I've never talked about somebody, again, other than a professional athlete, being in their prime or out of their prime.
But you have to put it in context. To be fair, in context, this is because Nikki Haley said that Trump and Biden are not in their prime. So that's where this all began. So it's not like it just came out of nowhere.
Okay, so and then the woman says,
believe me, I'm not defending. I have a long dislike. Ever since, you remember when that plane disappeared and
the black hole?
And Don Lemon asked a military person if they thought that the plane had gone through a black hole. Remember that?
I as soon as you said it, I knew, because I remember we talked extensively about it here on the air.
I thought he would have been fired back then.
So she says, in terms of what? And he goes, well, I didn't say it. Look it up. Google it. So to me, I just feel like that exposed him in one regard of like, that's research. You just Googled when's a woman in her prime.
Right.
And then you're on the air like telling everybody, like sharing what Google said.
Right.
So I thought that was bad.
On Google, you could get any sort of answer, right?
Yeah, the other thing.
Now, maybe he Googled and was some PhD who's done extensive research, et cetera, et cetera. But, again, it's a lot about nothing. However, his days seem to be numbered.
Yes, I completely agree. So, and he actually got in trouble, I believe, a couple of days before. Ironically, I will admit, I agreed with his point. His point was, the U.S. women maybe should make more money than the U.S. men, the soccer team, because more people are interested in them. But at the same time, he said if the U.S. women were playing the U.S. men all the time, they wouldn't be in any tournaments because they wouldn't be winning matches. And he got in trouble for that. And I thought that's correct. I mean,
yeah, right, because they're the same thing with. I mean, I hate to say with most sports.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bone structure, there's a muscle structure that is kind of you are born with, that kind of gives you an advantage. Not always. I'm not saying I certainly can't beat every woman at most things.
Billie Jean King.
Correct.
However,
it's not impossible.
However, yeah, but that guy was completely. He couldn't have won. He would have been getting beat at the college level, most likely. But his whole thing was, I'm a man. This was what was his name? I forgot. I watched the movie. But his whole thing was, I'm a male. Of course I can beat you. Right? It's because of the bone structure. It's because of muscle structure. Just the things that you were talking about. But then she ultimately won.
Bobby Riggs.
Bobby Riggs, yeah.
Battle of the Sexes.
They're really cool. I think that might be the name of the movie, Battle of the Sexes. It's pretty good if you want to watch something that takes some time. We will have this morning. So let me just get into what we're doing here today. Tanya Power is coming up. Today is President's Day. It is, when you look, you're going to hear a lot over the next couple of days about Jimmy Carter. Today being President's Day, Jimmy Carter is in his final days. The family says he is now receiving hospice care. So at 98 years old, that's pretty old for a president. Which president do you think lived the longest?
It's him, isn't
It's
it?
a trick question. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Jimmy
him.
Carter. Yeah.
Jimmy Carter has lived 98. He and his wife Rosalind Carter are the longest married couple that has ever lived as president and former first lady.
Who's second? Joe Biden?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. Joe Biden became president much later. Yeah. You think about it, Jimmy Carter, I think, was like 50 in his early 50s when he left, when he was defeated by Reagan. Anyway, he had some good things. I think he was an honest president. He's probably the most honest president we've seen, at least in recent modern times. But you know the Iran or the Iranian hostage crisis, that was a big problem. There were some other things that went wrong. We tried to rescue the hostages, and that was a failed attempt, and ended up killing service members. And of course, we were dealing with high gas prices, inflation. It was just a bit of a disaster. But after his presidency, he's probably the most productive and probably the most productive president we've ever seen. All of the work that he did for peace around the world, Habitat for Humanity, the houses that he has built. He certainly has been someone, whether you liked his politics or not, you have to appreciate him for what he has done after leaving the White House. Because he just could have gone off and reopened a peanut farm.
Is that what he did before?
There's a whole story about it. He took over his father's peanut farm back in the 1950s. But when he went off, I believe when he went off to be governor, his brother took over the peanut farm. You know, the one that was arrested in Boonville. And by the time Jimmy got back to it, it was over $1 million in debt. It was, they ended up losing it because of mismanagement by Billy Carter. So an interesting story. I was reading about it over the weekend. It looks like his days are numbered. By the way, the title of Tanya's interview we're going to have with her coming up in a second, President's Day, it's more than a mattress sale.
Really?
I like it. So we'll speak with Tanya coming up in a few minutes. Joe Manchin blasting Joe Biden. How about Joe Biden landing in Ukraine
this morning?
Overnight, this morning, making a surprise visit over there.
Yeah, it's extremely dangerous. You know, I wonder why we put our president in that situation, in peril, if you will. I think that's the word I'm looking for. I mean, it's a war zone over there, right?
Yes. By the way, it's horrific. If you watched 60 Minutes last night, it's horrific. It's just so terrible what these people are living in. But I'm sure they put him in an area that is considered safe. They did it quietly. No one knew it was happening.
Yeah.
And he went in. By the way, Rob this morning says, Nikki said politicians over 75 need a cognitive test. Never said anything about prime age. I don't believe that's true. However, I saw the clip where she's talking about being in her prime or someone being in their prime. However, to be fair, that interview might have come after Don Lemon had made after that controversy.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a newer interview. Either way, it's just ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. But Don Lemon, I think his days are numbered, not because of that comment. I just think his days are numbered. Yeah.
Boy, there's so many places I can go with this. The comment about the cognitive test, but it's just so funny to me. Like, I never thought of all the different primes you could talk about, whether it's reproductive or attractiveness or strength or physical ability for men or women. I've just never heard someone put the word prime in terms of your ability to politically attract people. You know what I mean? Like so-and-so's in their prime of people looking at them for political
guidance. Yeah, but I don't
guidance.
that's not what I was saying. I do not want to be in a position where I'm defending Don Lemon here.
Well, what was he talking about then?
The prime of your life. It's if someone is in the prime of their life. What she's saying is we have two presidents that are old, and it ties into her request for a mental test, a cognitive test. So and they're at the end of their lives. They're forgetful. They're going through early stages of dementia. Let's get someone in there who's younger and vibrant and in the prime of their life. Basically, is basically what she was saying, and what he was saying.
I've never heard it in that context of a political context. But anyway,
it isn't about a political context. It's about if you're in the prime of your life, you're the most able that you would be. You are the most mentally able. You're the most physically able that you would be. That's all she's saying.
Joe Biden's what, 85, 82, 83?
Yes.
Okay, so we're saying someone who's 35 years younger can't do that. And why is it because she's a woman? Then why would he bring it up then? That's what
I because of what she said. Right. I just think it's just a comment about the prime of someone's life. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, whatever. Make it very clear, please. I'm not defending Don Lemon.
Okay.
I am not defending. I have to say it again. I am not defending Don
I'm going to
Lemon.
bring this up now from now on. Oh, yeah, the Don Lemon defender over here, Bill Keeler.
Yes, please. Give me that. I had one guy walk through because I was seating people at the Jimmy Fallon show. And one guy walked through and he said, I like you, but you're a liberal. It's like, listen, you piece of garbage, go sit down. I mean, you're lucky you're getting in here right now.
Yeah, Paul Buckley. How do you talk to him like that? That's funny.
You're talking to the person who's bringing this guy in here for you. Hello.
I know.
Lordy. Now, Don Lemon, a liberal. Way out there. Katie Aiello, I'd say probably a liberal. Self-proclaimed, proud to be. She's on the radio this morning. And she's getting into a major story here, right? She's what could be a major, major story in Utica politics.
She is alleging that part of the reason that she didn't get the endorsement, well, I'll let her explain it, but essentially she is saying that she was offered a bribe going back over a year now, with the thought being that she would try to direct some ARPA funding toward this person's building. I have reached out to that individual. His name is Russ Pelly. He sent me a statement. We'll share that on the air coming up this morning. We'll also let Katie explain more in detail what her allegation is and how it ties into her not getting the party's endorsement. There is a relationship between the person she says offered the bribe and the candidate who ultimately ended up getting the Democratic Party's endorsement. And I also found it interesting the way she described the meeting, the endorsement meeting. But again, we'll get into all of that this morning. But there is an allegation here of wrongdoing by a private citizen as it relates to steering funding, federal funding that went through the city of Utica, and also an allegation of impropriety, it seems, on behalf of the Democratic Party, the city of Utica Democratic Party.
So let's, I might be able to play a little bit of this. Let's see what I have here.
Let's title this one, Things Elected Officials Aren't Supposed to Say,
This is Katie Aiello here on her TikTok.
To all the backroom politics that still exist, yes, on a local level. And what better way to showcase this than to tell you exactly what I've gone through the past year, and specifically the past couple months. So in my case, I'm a city council person, and we got all this ARPA funding for our city, right? Your city may have gotten it too. It was COVID relief money to be spent to help revitalize your city. And my mayor did this fun thing where he gave each council person, there's 6 of us, $200,000 to help revitalize the district how they see fit. And immediately, somebody in my district was like, hey, I have this building, my personal building, I want it renovated. How do I apply for this? I kept reiterating that that's not how this district money can be used, and it needs to be something for the public to have access to. And it doesn't go to just one person's personal property or personal business. He kept asking them, and so did his girlfriend. And then there was another day where this same man then comes into my coffee shop and brings me an envelope full of cash and hands it to me. I'm like, what is this? And he's like, I'd like to order a coffee. Okay, so then I make the coffee, the money's still there, and I'm like, maybe he wants to pay it forward. So I start paying it forward, and I bring him the change after a couple orders, and he's like, no, it's for you. I'm like, nope, absolutely not. I leave for a little bit for my shop, I come back, and this money is now stuffed behind my coffee bar. Knowing how persistent they've been, it was just very bizarre to also have this given to me, and I just didn't like what was happening. I finally, I can't find him, but I send a money order back with a letter saying, hey, Character Coffee's not accepting donations at this time. He sent that March 27th. The next day, this same man and his girlfriend were making posts about, can't wait to flip the council, new people are coming, we need to get rid of this corruption, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I know, that's just politics, right? Anyone's allowed to run for any reason, even if it means they didn't get money for their personal project. So I knew a primary was coming, likely from them, it's to be expected. But what I didn't expect was my city committee to endorse that woman, the girlfriend of the man who's doing all this, for all I've done for the district this past year also. But the crazy part is, I did have the endorsement actually. But then backroom politics happens, and we're going to need a part 2 because there's no way I'm going to fit this all in.
Wow. So it turns out that the person she's talking about, is she implying that the guy with the money, his girlfriend, has now gotten the nomination for her seat?
That is correct.
Okay. Wow.
And I've reached out to her. She did not provide a statement. She said she was kind of busy doing a few things and was taken aback by Katie's allegations, so she didn't really have anything. But her boyfriend, her significant other there, Russ, who the allegation is against, did provide me a statement. Do you want some of it?
Yeah, and I would just ask, there's quite some time in between the money, like almost a year in between the money and the endorsement. And since that time, she's gone all in on Complete Streets. Is it possible that the guy did the money thing? I don't want to call it a bribe, but the guy did the money thing, and since then, the Democratic committee has become bothered by Katie Aiello's pushing for the Complete Streets, and the two really didn't have anything to do with each other. I mean, because that is something that she would have to prove, right? That because of that bribe, did he bribe? She's implying that maybe he bribed somebody else. I don't understand how the committee comes into play with their endorsement, I guess.
So, and Katie will get into this a bit this morning. She claims and has text messages that show after an initial screening, she was told by committee leadership, "Congrats, nice job, you got the endorsement." And then when it came to the official meeting, after she had already printed off petitions and had been told that she had the party's endorsement, she says, there was this nominating meeting, and the question was, does anybody nominate Katie Aiello? And she's like, it was silent in my district. And then someone said, does anybody, and I want to make sure I get the name correct. I don't want to mispronounce the name here. Does anyone support this person? And a few people spoke up. And
all of a sudden, she's the nominee. All right, why don't we save his statement for next hour when we have her on? And because it's a very bold statement, right?
Yes,
let's call it
lengthy,
bold and all caps.
Some of it, yes.
We'll get to that coming up. Right now, today is President's Day. Interestingly, coming on a day when one of our former presidents has now entered hospice care and is probably in the final days, at the very least, final period of his life. Tanya J. Power standing by right now. You know, we think about President's Day as being a day off from school, usually kickoff of winter break, a mattress sale.
Get a free MyPillow if you buy today.
Yeah, but it's more than that, Tanya. Much more than that.
Much more than that, yes. It is the day. It's Washington's birthday. Washington's birthday. That is the official title of President's Day. There's not really. President's Day is not a federal holiday. It is Washington's birthday. That is the actual name of the holiday when you look it up, like under the whole, hey, what's the, what is the day? That's what it will say. It's President's Day. It's Washington's birthday. Everybody kind of lumps in together Washington and Lincoln. This was, it was called Washington's birthday as to honor George Washington, so to speak, on his birthday. But it's not really his birthday,
right?
That's a whole separate story in itself. It's when is Washington's birthday? But because of the Uniform Holiday Bill, which was signed in 1968 by President Johnson, that means that there are about 3 federal holidays. President's Day is one of them, that occur on Mondays to keep them from being midweek. So you won't have midweek, federal office shutdowns, and it also adds long weekends to the federal calendar. So you'll notice that some of those holidays come on a Monday.
Right, right.
They're stuck on a Monday for a reason. They're not just they don't just. That's not always the same date.
Yeah,
the date moves around. But yeah, this is the date when, Washington's birthday, federal holiday is. The government agencies and departments are closed. Your bank will probably not be open today. It'll affect hours. Some public schools and universities, state and local government offices. If you've got any kind of business like that, you may want to check and make sure the office is open before you have to go take care of something or whatever. You don't want to be surprised by that. But yeah, this is one of those holidays that falls on a Monday because of that. It's different. It's called different things depending on where you are. Actually, in New York, it is called Washington's birthday. That is Illinois, Iowa, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, and New York all call it Washington's birthday. There are some states that call it different things. In Arizona, it's Lincoln Washington President's Day. In Arkansas, it's called George Washington's birthday and Daisy Bates Day to honor the late civil rights advocate. In Utah, it's Washington and Lincoln Day. It's just different things wherever you are. Like everybody has a whole different take on it.
Most of our other holidays are actually, when you think about it, Columbus Day is one that's starting to be called different things depending on where you are in the country. But it does mean, though, that for the most part, your bank, stock market, all of that most likely will be closed today. No mail service, right?
Right. I think because it's a federal holiday.
Yeah.
What are the other two holidays, by the way? Sorry. What are the other two?
I'm assuming Labor Day is one of those, but I don't know what the other two are, actually.
Interesting, yeah. That was included in that uniform bill to make sure they always fall on Monday. I wonder if King Day is one of them. I think that might be one of them.
I'm guessing it is. Let me see.
But
Washington's birthday, Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, yeah.
Yes.
4th of July, maybe.
No, that was moved.
4th of July lands on 4th of July. Sorry.
I think Columbus Day is one of those.
Columbus Day might be, yeah. Very interesting, and really, we really kind of follow it for the most part with the rules. We follow those rules. Business follows those rules. For instance, this year, I think New Year's Day landed on a Sunday, and most everybody celebrates it on a Monday. Same thing with Christmas this year. The official day of celebration was on a Monday, based on you get the day off. I guess I don't know if that's something that is a government rule or something that we just follow.
Yeah, if like Christmas or New Year's, like you said, falls on a Sunday or a Saturday in a lot of places, that's
official observance
next
is what they
business
call
day
it.
is the observed one.
Right,
yeah.
right. I got to say, though, Tanya, I woke up this morning and I immediately thought, President's Day. Could it be a radio day off? And then I just got up and came in. So
you should have texted me because we could have put something together.
We could have. I just feel like, and I got to say that most companies are working today. The roads were very busy. The highways very busy coming in this morning. So everybody's for the most part working. We're making their way through President's Day. Tanya, as always, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Sure.
And enjoy your day off, which you don't have.
I don't. Yes, exactly.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Tanya J. Powers from Fox News.
So, as Tanya pointed out, the Uniform Monday Holiday Act, passed in 1971, made all three of these holidays Monday. We would observe them on Mondays. Washington's birthday, Memorial Day, and Columbus Day, since MLK Day, when 1983 was finally recognized as a national holiday, and that is also always celebrated on a Monday.
And I guess my question is because if 4th of July lands on a Saturday or a Sunday, you'll end up getting an observed day off at your workplace. And I wonder if that is a part of the law or if it's just something that is customary because companies give so many holidays off per year, and when 4th of July lands on a day off, they just give it to you either on a Monday or on a Friday.
Yeah, same thing with with Christmas, not Easter, of course. But
Christmas is the same thing. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's another one in there, but right, obviously Independence Day, we do get federal holiday for that.
I have a really pretty cool story here this morning. Another person walked through the comedy. I have to tell you, it was a very interesting what do they call those meetings that you can go into? A focus group. Right, and they do them sometimes in radio. It's like we brought in a focus group to talk about the Keeler in the Morning show. We're going to play them audio. We're going to talk, and then trust me, you don't want to be there. You don't want to be there. So as I was seating people for the Jimmy Fallon show, everybody was wonderful. People had a blast. It was really a great weekend of shows. 2 on Friday, 3 on Saturday. So, but I'm going in. Here was another one. You talk too much sports. Everybody had an opinion about the show coming through. It was like I was in the middle of a focus group. It was quite interesting.
I actually had the...
wow, you're much shorter in real life. Thanks.
Well, I bet you never heard that one before.
Yeah, haven't heard that one ever.
So I had a chance to meet Carol, who made the donation for the tickets.
Yes,
and
she
Carol
was
and her
wonderful,
husband,
yeah.
and they were outstanding. But Carol and I got to talking, and she said to me, and we never dug into this, but Carol said, I have to tell you, sometimes I'm amazed at the things you don't know. And I said...
She said that to you.
To me. And I said, the things that I don't know. And she said, yeah. And I said, what? And she goes, I'm amazed at the things that you don't know. And there was like an awkward pause. I was hoping she would elaborate on, a particular topic, but maybe she just meant in general.
Could it be in general? Like, it's interesting. The things you don't know. The things you just don't know, right?
Not like
Not
you, but I
you.
mean me specifically. Chance to chat with Carol and her husband for a while. And they were super nice, and they loved the show, of course. So
I want to say that most people were not commenting in that way. Everybody was awesome, and they were there for one. I mean, they were there for Jimmy Fallon.
Oh yeah,
and Jimmy was so accommodating, meeting with people, taking pictures. The T-shirt was a hit. Jimmy 2024, and he signed those shirts. It was really cool. Davey, I have audio of you. I'm going to play in a little while.
Oh, you do?
Davey did a great job with the introduction.
He really did.
Yeah, really happy.
You really were excellent.
You don't have audio.
I do.
I do
Oh,
as
wow.
well
Yeah.
from the Friday night show.
Yeah, audio and video, Davey. I'll share that with you.
Okay.
A little memento for you. All right. Did you see, Davey, that Josh Allen over the weekend? By the way, I realized that Tiger Woods finished 45th or tied for 44th or something like that. I thought he had a really good weekend for his first outing in about a year, right?
And he said
he was under par. It's good.
And he said he's going to play a couple majors.
Yeah, I think his era is not done. He may never win again, but the comment, hey, Tiger's playing this tournament, it still brings in numbers.
Not only that, but if you saw any of the graphics promoting the tournament or during the tournament,
Tiger was almost all over all of them.
I don't even know who the two players were in the front. One of them might have been John Rahm.
It was John Rahm and Max Hosa.
Well, Max Homa.
Max Homa.
What, who came 1 and 2?
Yeah.
No, but they had a graphic that said Genesis Invitational, and it was one player in his backswing and another player putting, and they were dwarfed by this giant Tiger Woods image, and they were kind of in front of him. It would have made you thought he was still the world number one golfer.
I got to say, though, I just think it's because of his legendary status that you are seeing the final times, the final days of the final weeks, the final years of Tiger Woods playing professional golf. So,
well, he's the host of that tournament, too.
Okay.
Okay, well, that probably played a role in it.
Yeah.
But you even see in these when the majors he's in, I mean, he's all the hype. They got a reporter assigned to him, a camera crew assigned to Tiger.
Yeah, it's big. Okay, Bills quarterback, Davey, did you see this? Josh Allen was at the final round.
He met Tiger.
And Josh Allen looked starstruck.
Yeah.
Looked starstruck meeting one of the greatest golfers of all time. But there was a little twist to this whole thing. When they finally met and shook hands, Tiger said, Josh Allen, I love you. I love watching you play.
Wow.
Turns out that Tiger Woods is a Josh Allen fan and loves the fact that he's able to, I don't know, hurdle defenders and whatever. But he told Sports Illustrated, I mean, I was a little starstruck. Obviously, he's one of the only athletes ever. Him and Kobe Bryant are the two guys that I felt my heart beat faster when he was standing over a putt for a tournament. Like I legit felt the pressure with him. That was pretty cool. I'll never forget it. Kind of speechless. That's pretty cool. That's Josh Allen talking about meeting Tiger Woods.
That's awesome.
So that was a pretty cool meeting of the two of them. Turns out Tiger is a big fan. Not bad.
So is he a closet Buffalo Bills fan then?
I don't know. Probably not, right? But certainly a Josh Allen fan. Got a break. We have news coming up straight ahead here. It is President's Day, or should I say Washington's birthday is how we call it here in New York. But it means no bank, no mail service. Although you may get packages delivered today. It all depends. But for the most part, your mail service is suspended for the day, and your banking.
And if you're having trouble sleeping at night, it might be the mattress. Look into it. I heard you can get a great deal today.
You get a great deal on a mattress. Got a break. News is next.
Are you sick of being just a number or doing a mindless job? Become a craftsman in a trade. Become an IBEW electrician. The IBEW and the Electrician Training Alliance will give you all the tools necessary at their state-of-the-art training facility. Earn as you learn. Paid training while you get your certification. What are you waiting for? Become an IBEW Local 43 electrician. Call or go online today to learn more. Find your career at IBEW and let the Electrician Training Alliance light up your future.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the new Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them at 315-724-6767. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies. We make life easier.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Attention. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to Instagram and has struggled with eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Text TEEN to 323232 for more information. Disclosures by a Facebook whistleblower suggest Instagram and Facebook know their social media platforms are highly addictive and cause eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation, but have done little to stop it. If your family has been impacted by Instagram addiction, you could be eligible for significant compensation. Text TEEN to 323232 if you'd like to discuss a lawsuit. Text TEEN to 323232 or call 800-768-4026 and speak with an attorney.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Motley Rice attorney Donald A. Migliore is responsible for this ad. Motley Rice LLC is headquartered at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina 29464.
Hey, Pete, how's business? It's great. Foot traffic's still way down, but more people are finding me online. Nice. How'd you pull that off? Well, the first thing I did was go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there were for businesses like mine. So I guess there were a lot? Yeah, there were hundreds of local searches every month. So after I saw that, they helped me position my business online to get in front of those customers. That's awesome. I wonder how many people are searching for my services around here. Well, it's quick and easy to get the answer. Plus, it's free. Just go to mylocalcustomers.com to find out. If there are a lot of searches, you should definitely get in front of them. If there aren't, no harm, no foul.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica, Rome, W295DI Utica, Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
President Biden takes a trip to Ukraine. I'm Dave Anthony.
Remind us that freedom is priceless. It's worth fighting for as long as it takes.
Standing next to President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv, days before the one-year anniversary of Russia's invasion.
You and all Ukrainians, Mr. President, remind the world every single day what the meaning of the word courage is.
And he detailed more American aid to come. The president was supposed to go to Poland today to So to Fox's Peter Ducey, who's already in Warsaw, it was a
huge surprise. President Biden wasn't scheduled to fly out of Washington, D.C. until the 6 p.m. hour tonight. Instead, they very quietly gathered a press pool, and they left yesterday.
The president will still go to Poland to meet with allies about Ukraine and make a speech tomorrow. Russian leader Vladimir Putin, working on a new offensive to take parts of eastern Ukraine, will also make a speech tomorrow, and he may getting new help from one of his allies, China.
We have information that gives us concern that they are considering providing lethal support to Russia in the war against Ukraine.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken tells ABC's This Week he told his Chinese counterpart in a meeting in Munich over the weekend arming Russia would be a serious problem. And Blinken told China's foreign minister its use of a spy balloon over the U.S. shot down 2 weeks ago was unacceptable, must never happen again. North Korea has test launched 2 more missiles today into the sea, angry over new U.S. and South Korean military drills. In Ohio, the head of the railroad that had a freight train derailment spewing toxic chemicals and smoke says he's terribly sorry.
Over the weekend, Norfolk Southern CEO returned here to meet local officials. His railway has been handing out $1,000 checks, but only to people here in East Palestine zip code only. Others in the surrounding area, like the town of Negley, just south of here, say they are being forgotten.
That's Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. Some people don't believe air and water is safe. America's listening to Fox News.
Dell Technologies President's Day business event starts now with deals to power America's doers and dreamers. Save on select performance business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for President's Day deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
And now a small business setback, delivered by a kind French stranger.
Monsieur, there was an accident. The windshield of your catering van is, how do you say, kaput? But Progressive has an extensive network of repair shops. Now, we sing about the old days. Brave marin revient de guerre.
When things go wrong with your small business, it's comforting to know you have Progressive Commercial. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Croissance for everyone. Brave
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Mostly cloudy skies and 38 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX News Time is 7:03. This news update is brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. Beware of tax refund shock. Choose Jackson Hewitt for 50% off and your guaranteed biggest refund. 50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for full terms and details. Well, if you were on the State Thruway yesterday, traveling in either direction, you were either likely part of a delay or saw one as you were heading in the opposite direction. State police say a wrong-way driver was responsible for causing a crash that led to some lengthy traffic delays on the Thruway yesterday. The driver of an SUV was going westbound in the eastbound lane of the highway between exit 37 and 38 in Salina. Their vehicle struck a tractor-trailer head-on. Police say the SUV driver was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. The tractor-trailer driver was not injured. No word on why the SUV was traveling in the wrong direction. A fire on Whitesboro Street in Utica leaves at least a dozen people temporarily displaced. Fire crews responding to a home on Whitesboro Street Saturday. One resident needed to be treated for smoke inhalation. No word yet on what caused the fire. The American Red Cross is helping meet the immediate needs of those who have been displaced. Meanwhile, in Syracuse, an investigation underway into what caused a fire that's left 11 people displaced. That blaze happened Saturday as well at a residence on Spring Street. Crews arrived to find heavy smoke and flames coming from the home. They were told someone might be trapped inside. Thankfully, they were not. No injuries were reported. If you're flying out of Albany International Airport today, officials say get there at least 2 hours before the flight. An airport spokesman says over 4,600 passengers are expected to be at the airport throughout the day. Travelers should also check on the status of their flight with their airline before heading to an airport in case it has been canceled or delayed. Governor Kathy Hochul announcing the results of the recent Super Bowl weekend stop DWI crackdown. The governor says state police arrested 183 people for DWI between Friday, February 10th and Monday, February 13th, including 12 in central New York. There were more than 11,800 tickets handed out during the same time period for violations such as speeding and distracted driving. During last year's campaign, just under 11,000 people were ticketed. The mild weather canceling another event. Folks who were hoping to check out the ice castles in Lake George today will have to delay their visit. Organizers say the castles will be closed because of the warm weather. Those who purchased tickets for today will be getting a refund. However, both the Polar Pub Ice Bar and the Mystic Light Walk will be open from 5 to 10 p.m. tonight. Central New York drivers paying a little bit less at the gas pump this week as prices are trickling down just a little bit. According to AAA, the average price for a gallon of regular fuel in Utica, Rome is now $3.50 a gallon today. That's down a penny from yesterday and a nickel over the past week. However, our friends in Syracuse are paying 5 cents less than that. They're averaging $3.45 a gallon. Statewide, the average is at $3.51. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast calling for showers possible today, mainly before 2 p.m., otherwise mostly cloudy skies and a high of 43. We could see wind gusts at times today near 25 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies, an overnight low of 25. A chance of rain and snow showers to start the day on Tuesday, then snow showers in the afternoon. Tomorrow's high 41 degrees. Wednesday, mostly cloudy, a high of 32. Thursday, a messy commute on tap. Some snow, freezing rain, and sleet all in the morning. Then rain showers in the afternoon. Thursday's high 35 degrees. Smitty on Friday, a chance of snow showers and a high of just 18. Right now, we have mostly cloudy skies and 38 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:07. All right, from the IBE Local 43 Sports Desk, Syracuse got spanked on Saturday. 77-55, they lost to the Duke Blue Devils. Joe Girard scored 21 points in defeat. Syracuse now 17-10 overall and 10-6 in conference play. They had their three-game winning streak snapped. Judah Mintz added 18 points as well. And, of course, Buffalo Bills safety DeMar Hamlin was among those in attendance. More than 31,000 fans saw Syracuse get smacked around by the Duke Blue Devils. Up next for Syracuse is Clemson coming up on Wednesday. Is that right, Smitty?
Yes.
I
believe it's on the ACC network. Real quick.
Yes.
Girard and Mintz. Guess how many points they had together?
Oh, hold on. I'll tell you. 39.
Yes. Rest of the team, 15. No talent, as someone told me yesterday when I was having lunch. Syracuse, they have no talent.
Wow. That's a definitive statement from Uncle Smitty right there. A team with some talent, certainly for their conference. All 5 Colgate starters scored in double figures as the Raiders celebrated Senior Day with a 96-73 romp of Holy Cross on Saturday afternoon. Tucker Richardson scored 19 points to lead the Raiders to victory. Colgate leading 58-53. The Raiders made 8 of their next 9 shots from the field, marking an 18-4 run. I'm looking for their record right now because they have been cruising this season.
They're 21-8 overall. I don't know what they are in the Patriot League, but their next 2 games are on the road, and they won't be playing until, I believe, next Wednesday when the Patriot League tournament starts.
The Giants starting quarterback, Daniel Jones, making a change, not in team, at least not yet, but a change in representation. Jones has been represented by CAA since first being drafted in 2019. The expectation is he's going to join Athletics First in search of a long-term deal. The 25-year-old did not have his 5th-year option exercised last year by the Giants. The G-Men will use the franchise tag on Jones if they're unable to get a long-term deal done before March 7th. Aaron Rodgers' days with the Green Bay Packers are numbered. That's according to Bob McGinn, who joined Tyler Dunn on the Go Long TD podcast. The veteran Packers reporter said the veteran Packers quarterback is not coming back. He said of the Packers, they're disgusted with him and they're done with him. McGinn was speaking on information gathered from someone who has firsthand knowledge of internal negotiations with the Green Bay Packers. Basketball yesterday, Team Giannis took down Team LeBron in a defenseless all-star game. 184-175 was the final in Salt Lake City. Former Nets guard Kyrie Irving scored 32 points to go along with 7 rebounds and 15 assists. The Broncos might be bringing back Rex Ryan to the NFL. ESPN says Denver interviewed Ryan for the team's defensive coordinator position over the weekend. Ryan said he would leave his role as an ESPN analyst for, quote, the perfect situation. Golf over the weekend, John Rahm took down the Genesis Invitational. He finished at 17 under par. Max Homa came in second. Tiger Woods finished tied for 45th at 1 under par. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. ended a lengthy winless streak and took home the checkered flag at the longest Daytona 500 in NASCAR history. The number 47 car raced an extra 12 laps because of several cautions down the stretch, which forced double overtime. Stenhouse picking up his first victory since 2017.
What is the problem that the Packers have with?
Rodgers is openly critical about the team. I mean, I remember even last year, were they in a playoff game or fighting for a playoff spot when they had a chance? They were down 6. Instead of going for it on 4th and 5 or 4th and goal from the 5, they ended up kicking the field goal. And remember that? There was a big controversy.
Yeah.
And people were like, you don't have any confidence in Aaron Rodgers? And Aaron Rodgers was saying, you don't have any confidence in Aaron Rodgers? So, and he's openly out there critical. Plus, there's all this other, the ayahuasca, the COVID-19. Now he's on this other retreat, this in the darkness retreat or whatever the heck it is.
He's completely gone off those. Is it the State Farm commercials? Which is the one that he's on?
Yeah, he was on State Farm.
I think since some of his latest comments, that's kind of gone away.
Discount double check.
Yeah.
He's been kind of bitter ever since they drafted Jordan Love in
Right,
the first
that was
round
another
there,
thing.
when they used the number 1 pick there to draft Jordan Love.
He's been openly critical about their draft decision. I just think they're like, okay, that's enough. We're not winning. We're not going to tolerate this.
So one other story that interesting, as Mike says, will they call him Tampon Tiger from now on? Did you see what happened with this? And I'm not sure why feminists are so bothered by that. Saying Tiger Woods should apologize. So what was it? He was playing with somebody. They didn't make a putt or didn't make the green. So he handed him a tampon as if he was a girl. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Do you know the situation?
So he was paired for the first 2 rounds with Justin Thomas
Yes.
and Rory. And they were walking down, I believe, on the back 9, and I just saw the picture. Tiger
hands him a tampon. Yeah. Which is kind of a joke.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard this on the golf course before. In fact, there's a couple that I play with, a husband-wife couple, and she, the female, will say this often to her husband or about her husband. If he leaves a putt short, if he comes up short, she will say, does your wife play?
Right.
Right. Yeah, I guess that it's... I don't know.
It's a gag between two people. It was meant to be done in private where no one could see it. It was a photographer that caught it, right, Davey? I mean, the picture you're showing me, he's looking forward and nonchalantly hands it over to him, and the photographer was able to zoom in to see what it was, and you can see clearly on there tampon. So I mean,
but he did apologize.
Go into a locker room, right?
All he has to say if he's confronted with this is, well, Don Lemon said,
it
if
was
the
okay.
men's soccer team played the women's soccer team all the time, the men would win more often. I did not mention hockey this weekend. The Comets are in action today, playing at Toronto. It's a 3 p.m. game. Again, they love those. Last Wednesday, they played at Toronto at 11 o'clock.
Game,
They're playing at 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's obviously not President's Day in Toronto.
That might have to do with, does the AHL team play where the NHL team plays? That might have to do with that.
Oh, could be, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely could be. And then the Pioneers hockey team, the men's hockey team, I don't know why it's not coming up here for me. So let me, before I move off the Comets play today at 3 o'clock. Now, obviously, I know you were had a ton of stuff going on this weekend with the Comedy Club and Jimmy Fallon, but the Comets came up short on Saturday, losing 8-5 to Syracuse. But I just thought it was notable that 13 goals were scored in that game. My goodness.
Yeah, that was big.
Would they have empty nets the whole game, for crying out loud? Over the weekend, the Utica Pioneers men's hockey team won 7-1 both nights, Saturday and Sunday, against Arcadia University. The Pioneers finished the season with a record of 22-2-1. Again, they opened the season 0-2.
20-0 in the conference.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Great year for Coach Gary Heenan and his club. And guess what? Coming up on Wednesday night at the Adirondack Bank Center, the team they just beat outscored them 14-2 this weekend. The Pioneers host Arcadia University. It's a 7 p.m. start at the Adirondack Bank Center. The UCHC tournament kicks off, and the Pioneers will be home on Wednesday night. So we're jumping right into it.
You know, the two games they lost were against Adrian College,
who at the time was ranked number 1.
At the time they were, and that's no longer. And Utica's been on fire ever since. And as you said, right away, Arcadia, number 8 Arcadia, they play on Wednesday. So
the women's hockey team also,
which by the way is the team they beat 2 games over the weekend.
Yeah, the women's hockey team played number 14 Nazareth over the weekend. They played to a tie on Friday and then lost in overtime on Saturday. So the women's team starts the season with a loss, wins every game in between, then ends the season with a loss. They're in the UCHC tournament as well, and they're at home Wednesday at 3 p.m. at the Nexus Center. And the Lady Pioneers, if I can call them that, will take on Lebanon Valley.
Okay, got a break. Much to do, and this hour we'll hear from Katie Aiello making some pretty serious charges against her own Democratic committee. We'll talk about it coming up. 7:17 at WIBX.
Hi, I'm Oneida County Executive Anthony Pacenti. Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opiates after a surgery 2 years ago, a broken bone last year, and a dental procedure last month. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. Holding on to unused medication like opiates puts your family at risk. Remove the risk by getting 2 free medication disposal bags mailed directly to your home. Hurry and don't delay. There's a limited supply.
Go to ocopioidtaskforce.org.
I'm here with Marty Zarnock Jr., creator of Mountain Ice, our WIBX industry ace. Marty, I've been using Mountain Ice since it hit the market, and it's helped tremendously with pain relief in my shoulders and knees. What would you tell someone who's never used Mountain Ice before?
If you've never used Mountain Ice, it's unlike any other products on the market today. They basically just mask the pain and just kind of soothe the pain for a short period of time. Whereas in Mountain Ice, we put turmeric, arnica, tea tree oil, glucosamine. We're trying to attack inflammation, trying to attack pain in a different way, reduce swelling, improve circulation where the pain is caused from. So it does a few other things instead of just kind of masking the pain for a few hours.
All right, great info, Marty, and thanks for being one of our industry aces. For more information, go to mountain-ice.com or visit them in person on Old River Road in Marcy for a free sample.
When you order food for work on EasyCater.com, we've got your back. Real humans are here to help with your order every step of the way, making sure everything goes right, even behind the scenes without you knowing, confirming and double confirming with the restaurant that everything is on track. If there's a problem,
thanks for calling EasyCater.
Call us anytime, day or night, and we'll answer in seconds. We're right here with 100,000 restaurants, working hard to ensure the food arrives on time and is ordered. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
I can't take this kitchen any longer. Carl, we need to start looking for a new house.
Honey, you know the housing market is tight. It's going to be next to impossible to find something that we like.
I know, but this kitchen has to go.
Hey, what about a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank? We can turn the equity from our home into cash to renovate, just the way you want.
Renovate?
Adirondack Bank has competitive rates, and they've been a trusted community bank for decades.
A new kitchen. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
Then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the deck, even add a pool, and take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about.
Whoa, slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank about that home equity loan. Then we can decide where to start.
I've always wanted to add on a craft room, and our bathroom needs a facelift.
Don't move. Improve. Stop into your local Adirondack Bank branch for more information on a home equity loan or visit AdirondackBank.com. Bank local with Adirondack Bank, your hometown community bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Can I take you to, if possible, Fat Cats Comedy Club over the weekend with Jimmy Fallon? And I cannot explain enough how we just, every seat was taken. In fact, at some points we had to kind of bring in a couple of extra, because you have a party of 6 and a party of 2, and then all of a sudden the party of 6 comes in late, and you're trying to sit everybody together. It just becomes very difficult. But they did a great job. Those the ladies, the waitresses did an incredible job there, and over the weekend, and so did Davey, our man Davey. Davey, you were really spot on.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it.
He was the master of ceremonies.
Yes, he was.
Can I throw out a little bit of Davey audio here? I have some. Here we go.
Hello. Andrew, Jerome and Ellie. All right. It is my pleasure to introduce my best friend. From Fox Across America, and all over Fox, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jimmy Fallon.
There he is. How about that, Davey? Nice job.
Thank you, Bill.
Did a really, really good job up there.
I appreciate that again. Thank you very much.
So, was Jim upset that you called Jimmy your best friend?
I know. Think
and
about
you weren't
that.
referring to him?
Jim is my best friend too.
Well,
right.
Jimmy or Uncle Jimmy?
Uncle Jimmy.
Uncle Jimmy. Yeah.
Well, all I'm saying is Davey was there. If anybody, Davey was watching very carefully. If anybody would have been like get some Don Lemon Lover in there, I was going to try to attack Jimmy from the Davey to taking him out. He was ready to go.
Yeah, you did a great job.
But
bud.
a great weekend with Jimmy Fallon this past weekend. Democrat Joe Manchin blasting the Biden administration for the response on this. It's something we haven't really talked about. But if you remember, the big argument that was it Zecca or was it Zecca
the No Hospital
and
Downtown
the No
folks.
Hospital Downtown and Jim Brock. One of their arguments was that if there was a train wreck, that it would be, and they were carrying toxic chemicals, that it would happen so close to the hospital. How would we handle that? And it was kind of poo-pooed, obviously, but at the same time, anything could happen at any time. But this, you'd have to have the perfect timing. Look at what happened at this East Palestine train crash,
derailment,
and then talking about how this happens all over the country
1,000
every day.
a year. That's 3 a day.
But it's I think that there's a real problem with our rail system.
But do we have 3? We don't have 3 train derailments a day.
Well, you wouldn't certainly that have a toxic spill,
sure,
a chemical spill. Raven Harrison is with us right now. He's a political strategist. Raven, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning. Glad to be here. And
She's
Jimmy.
Sorry, and yes. What are your thoughts, Raven, about Joe Manchin? He's coming out strong, as I think all Democrats should. This is a horrible response.
Yes, I think it would have been, really, let's just take the Democrat off the title and say, Joe Manchin hits the administration hard, because that's what it is. I've been telling people to put this in terms of any other disaster, hurricane, whatever, and where it would be appropriate to have a 2-week response from the government in terms of there being disaster relief. So I really feel for these people, because what we do know is that, this happened on February 3rd. Governor DeWine didn't make a comment until the 5th. Now we're 2 weeks before a visit. We know that 6,000 dead fish. This train was carrying the who's who of toxic chemicals into and derailed. So it's basically 3 Mile Island 2.0, if you're old enough to remember that, like goodness. I am. And they decided that the cargo did not explode on impact, but they decided that the risk of explosion was so high that they risked a burn that produced phosgene. For those who don't know, that was so toxic. It was used in World War I. It was so toxic that they banned it, basically treaties saying that even in war you can't use this. It's too toxic.
Yeah.
So that's what the people are dealing with right now, where people are trying to make this. The Nation ran an article saying that Pete Buttigieg's paralysis after the East Palestine disaster is a gift to the hard right. How is that a gift to anyone? It is a disaster and a failing of the administration.
Well, you remember the criticism that presidents have taken. Remember George Bush with the hurricane response.
Yes.
I mean, we've had enough disasters in this country where this should just be an automatic protocol going into place.
Yes.
This just should be automatic, right?
It should be automatic, and that's what people should be questioning. We're not making this, it's not a political issue. This is an American citizen and preparedness issue. The administration is so busy with first. We have to have the first everything. We have to have the first astronaut. We have to have the first this is what's underscoring is we aren't prepared for the disasters they claim to represent. That should scare people more than anything.
Yeah. I got to say, telling them that it's okay to drink the water, I think when you look at our history of telling people everything is safe, I just look at 9/11. Yes. The air quality is safe. Then why are so many firefighters suffering from cancer today? And we're completely pointing to the toxins in the air at 9/11. I mean, correct. You can't blame these people for being worried.
That is absolutely a great point.
Yeah.
6,000 dead fish, people exhibiting immediate symptoms. So my suggestion is that they give Biden a big glass of local drinking water. But they should all of these officials should be, if you're telling these residents it's safe, then all of them should have camp there until this is resolved.
Yeah.
Every one of them should be staying there in East Palestine until, if it is in fact safe. And if they haven't spoken to their elected officials, now's a really good time.
Yeah, now would be a good time. Raven, you're the author of Raven's Mantle, Fighting the Betrayal of America. Talk to us a bit about that.
Well, that is, I am the daughter of two retired United States Air Force lieutenant colonels. I'm the daughter of the wife of a major retired C-17 pilot, and I had parents in the Pentagon at 9/11. I was in the Vegas massacre, so we have a system and a structure in place for what's happened. So I'm going to give people a raw, unfiltered view of how we got here in America and what are our steps going forward.
All right, Raven, thank you so much. Raven Mantle, we appreciate Raven Harrison, we appreciate your time. The book is Raven's Mantle, Fighting the Betrayal of America. Raven Harrison, have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
The response has just been, and Buttigieg's answers that he's giving in interviews are just on the defensive and ridiculous.
Let me guess, it was something like this. Railroads are racist. Train cars are racist. Dead fish are racist.
I just think this, we have, and he was saying we have nearly 1,000 derailments a year. Now, some of those might be minor, some of those, if that is an actual number. But the fact is, I think we got to do some upgrading, right? There's got to be some upgrading of the rail system because we rely on it so much, especially at a time when we've been going through supply interruptions throughout the country. But, man, I think this is an easy response here. We should be all over it for these people.
Absolutely. And I'm not I heard this mentioned over the weekend. I did not dig into it, but I'm sure others maybe have an opinion on it. And, of course, you can chime in via the WIBX 950 app. And I want to say good morning once again to Carol on the WIBX 950 app, who has apologized to me. Well, we'll talk more about that in a second.
She's apologized.
Yeah, she said, I sorry about my comment. You do a great job, and she had a great time on Friday. She said, and I said, please don't apologize. I only mentioned that story because I know you'd get a kick out of it. But to the point about transporting these toxic chemicals. I don't know how true this is. I just heard somebody mention this over the weekend, that Biden's crackdown on pipelines of any kind, like this is a material or a fluid, if you will, that could have been or could be transported via a pipeline to its ultimate destination.
Well, I'm sorry, but that is the pipeline disasters that we have in this country as well with leakage. I'm not sure that would be an answer. Right?
Very well be the case.
But whether you're delivering them by way of rail or you're delivering them using a tractor trailer, or you'll see if you're going on the throughway, all of a sudden you'll see there's a toxic chemical inside, whatever it might be. Could be chlorine, I don't know.
Yeah.
But concentrated or in its current state would be very toxic if there was a motor vehicle accident.
Right.
There was just one recently where somebody was going the wrong way on the throughway and ended up getting into a head-on collision with a tractor trailer over the weekend.
Just yesterday, yeah.
Yeah. So, you got to wonder about this. But I realized that we all were like, well, that's ridiculous. A train going by the train station in Utica, close to the hospital that is being built. That's ridiculous. But when you see an accident like this, and then they decide to burn it and you just look at that smoke bellowing into the air, that thick black smoke, that just couldn't be good.
Yeah, and somebody in the building here wrote an article last week about there's a concern that maybe we could get a rainstorm that might have toxic rain, is what they were calling it, because obviously all that stuff goes up into the atmosphere and gets caught up in clouds, apparently. So,
today is President's Day. You'll have no mail. You'll have no banking today. All of that. Schools are off, of course, but we'll be off all week long. At least the high schools and the elementary schools, for winter break. It's that time of year. 7:32. Coming up, we'll speak with Katie Aiello, who's making some really tough claims in regards to her Democratic committee, and a member of the public. We'll get into that coming up. And Hobica's free money question of the day as well in just a minute. Manaski updates the news next on WIBX.
From screen printing and embroidery to promotional products and online shops, it's all under one new roof at Max's Print Shop in Marcy. Order anytime and any quantity in person or online at maxsprintshop.com. Since 1978, we pride ourselves on personally meeting every customer's need. We can take your project from design to production. And remember, Max's Print Shop will stitch anything. And we mean anything in the Utica Rome area. Find us at 9555 River Road in Marcy or online at maxsprintshop.com.
For your financial advice to be useful, it needs to be tailored to how you live your life. I'm Jim McGuire, branch manager of Baird's Utica office. At Baird, we provide investment and financial planning for all areas of your life: retirement, family, and estate plans, and charitable giving. Plus, we coordinate our advice with your tax and legal advisors, so you can be confident all your plans are working together for you. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdUtica.com.
When you order food for work on EasyCater.com, we've got your back. Real humans are here to help with your order every step of the way, making sure everything goes right, even behind the scenes without you knowing, confirming and double confirming with the restaurant that everything is on track. If there's a problem,
Thanks for calling EasyCater.
call us anytime, day or night, and we'll answer in seconds. We're right here with 100,000 restaurants, working hard to ensure the food arrives on time and is ordered. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
If you have an IRA or 401k, please listen closely. My name is Jason Hansen. I'm a former CIA officer and New York Times bestselling author. Throughout my career, let's just say I've been in some hairy situations. And I believe right now the biggest threat facing Americans is they need to protect their wealth, which is exactly what I'm doing for my wife and 6 kids. And I believe the ultimate safe haven is physical gold and silver. You can protect your hard-earned retirement assets with a tax-free loophole that allows you to convert your retirement into physical gold and silver. The folks I use are Advantage Gold, and believe me, I've investigated the heck out of all types of people. Advantage Gold is the nation's highest rated gold company. They have the best process, pricing, and service. If you want to get your free gold and silver investment kit, please contact Advantage Gold right now, and you'll see how easy it is to protect yourself with precious metals. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
Call 800-900-8000.
Every day at NBT Bank, we focus our business around all the ways we can help yours. We're large enough to offer leading business and digital solutions, but local enough to ensure personalized one-on-one service. So turn to NBT Bank for a full range of business solutions, like capital and treasury management services, even fraud protection, and see how NBT Bank is just the right size to help you do big things. Visit nbtbank.com to learn more and start a conversation. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the new Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them at 315-724-6767. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies. We make life easier.
Hey, the Falcon Clinic is a primary care medical clinic in Washington Mills, accepting new patients right now. Dr. Shemaleski, Dr. Zielinski, aches and pains, fatigue. Have you been suffering from that? Have you been tested for hepatitis C? Dr. Shemaleski is Hep C certified, and this is 100% curable. And they're accepting new patients right now. You don't need a referral. Just call the Falcon Clinic or visit them online, falconclinic.com, thefalconclinic.com. Acupuncture, Dr. Kosminski is at the facility as well, all under one roof. And I'm having a day where nothing seems to be coming out right. Are you noticing that?
Monday?
Maybe a Monday, but I don't know. This Raven Harrison, I have it written right here, but, I called her Ravenswood Comics or something. I'm struggling today. Maybe I should see Dr. Shemaleski. If you're looking for a primary physician, primary doctor, a family doctor, reach out to the Falcon Clinic today or visit them online, falconclinic.com. That's Falcon Clinic. That number again. Oh, I didn't give the number, did I? 315-507-4751. It's going to be one of those days where anything could happen. Could be my last day. You never know. At 7:37, Manaski has news right now.
All right, Bill, we have mostly cloudy skies and 38 degrees to start. We'll take a closer look at your forecast coming up in just a few minutes. A major change in the weather coming Friday. We're looking at highs only in the mid-teens. We'll get to all that coming up in just a few minutes. President Joe Biden made a surprise visit to Ukraine today, just days ahead of the one-year anniversary of Russia's invasion there. He met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky for talks, announced another $500 million in aid, and released a statement. It read in part that he'd made the trip to reaffirm America's unwavering commitment to Ukraine's democracy, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. The church where Jimmy Carter has attended and taught is asking for prayers for the former president. It was announced over the weekend that the 98-year-old Carter will spend his remaining time at home with his family under hospice care. A prayer leader at the Baptist Church in Carter's hometown of Plains, Georgia, led the congregation in prayer over the weekend. Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw says he supports the community in East Palestine, Ohio, where a train derailment this month left concerns over a toxic chemical spill. He stopped briefly in the town Saturday amid heavy criticism of his rail company's response. The company has kept a low profile around the town, saying it pulled out of any community meeting because of a physical threat against employees. Officials say North Korea has launched 2 ballistic missiles off its east coast. It's estimated both were fired early Monday morning local time and fell into the Sea of Japan, according to Japan's defense ministry. This comes after joint air training was conducted by the U.S. and South Korea on Sunday. A recently introduced Kentucky bill would limit where drag shows are allowed to take place. The bill would ban the shows and other so-called adult-oriented events from happening within 1,000 feet of any park, school, or other places that cater to minors. The bill's sponsors say they made the move because these shows have become overly sexualized. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. ended a lengthy winless streak and took home the checkered flag in the longest Daytona 500 in NASCAR history. On Sunday, the number 47 car raced an extra 12 laps because of several cautions down the stretch, which forced double overtime. Stenhouse picking up his first victory since 2017. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast calling for mostly cloudy skies, showers possible before 2 p.m. today, a high of 43 degrees, and at times we could see wind gusts up to 25 miles an hour today. Mostly cloudy skies tonight, an overnight low of 25. Chance of rain and snow showers before noon on Tuesday. Then rain showers in the afternoon with a high of 41. Wednesday, mostly cloudy, a high of 42. Thursday, some snow, freezing rain, and sleet, all possible before 8 a.m. Then freezing rain possible in the afternoon. Thursday's high 35. Friday, Bill, a chance of snow showers, otherwise mostly cloudy, and a high of 18 degrees Friday.
Last week, like a week and a half ago, we talked about how the meteorologists were saying that the prediction for the month of February, this is like 2 weeks ago, that they saw mild weather. Remember, right after we had that cold spell and it got warm, mild weather through about the 23rd of February. And I'll be darned if they're absolutely correct.
Well, if
it's shocking. They're correct. They can't get tomorrow right, but they got 2 weeks down the road right.
Broken clock, you know.
Yeah, I guess
right
you're right.
Twice a day.
Sometimes.
Right now, mostly cloudy skies and 38 degrees. Bill, it is 7:41.
All right, let's do Hobeika's free money question of the day from Joseph and Andrew Hobeika at the Hobeika Law Firm. Davey, this morning we're looking for caller number what?
7.
All right, Mr. Mojo. Caller 7.
I do have my mojo. I said that on Saturday. I had my mojo.
You are rocking it, man. Caller number 7 right now, though, and a chance at $100 from Hobeika. 315-736-0186. Call right now. 7th caller plays the contest. Next on WIBX.
Every day, more than 250 people from all walks of life die from a drug overdose. They include our families, friends, and our neighbors. Their deaths are preventable with a simple first aid tool. Naloxone, also known by the brand name Narcan, is first aid and it saves lives. It's easy to use and can be administered by anyone. Oneida County wants to get it into as many businesses and homes as possible. Sign up online and receive an overdose rescue kit with 2 doses of Narcan nasal spray for free. Go to ocgov.net and click on Save a Life to request your free kit.
Hi, this is Frank with Northland Trailers located on River Road in Marcy. At Northland, we offer a full line of utility, snowmobile, enclosed, dump, and equipment trailers. We can also custom design a trailer to meet your specific needs. In addition to trailers, we have a full parts showroom, and we service what we sell. Our family business is proud to have been serving our community for over 4 decades. Northland Trailers is located right outside the city of Utica. So swing on down and let's talk towing.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Attention. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to Instagram and has struggled with eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Text TEEN to 323232 for more information. Disclosures by a Facebook whistleblower suggest Instagram and Facebook know their social media platforms are highly addictive and cause eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation, but have done little to stop it. If your family has been impacted by Instagram addiction, you could be eligible for significant compensation. Text TEEN to 323232 if you'd like to discuss a lawsuit. Text TEEN to 323232 or call 800-768-4026 and speak with an attorney.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Motley Rice attorney Donald A. Migliore is responsible for this ad. Motley Rice LLC is headquartered at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina 29464.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. We have the pads, rotors, drums, shoes, and brake fluids to improve your stopping power. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with the set of Duralast brake pads. Missing a tool? Ask about our free Loan-A-Tool program and borrow the tools you need to get the job done.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2021. Deposit required for loan tool.
From screen printing and embroidery to promotional products and online shops, it's all under one new roof at Max's Print Shop in Marcy. Order anytime and any quantity in person or online at maxsprintshop.com. Since 1978, we pride ourselves on personally meeting every customer's need. We can take your project from design to production. And remember, Max's Print Shop will stitch anything. And we mean anything in the Utica-Rome area. Find us at 9555 River Road in Marcy or online at maxsprintshop.com.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They have been your hometown buyer for the last 49 years. Every gold and silver buyer claims to pay the highest prices, but the Potting Shed Antiques have been around for so long because they pay a fair and honest price. Let Don and Nancy take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. Open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Learn more online at thepottingshedantiques.com.
We'll talk about Daylight Donuts. The official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Chuck Sedella make sure that drive-through is lightning fast. You drive up, no matter how long you think that line is, it's moving, which is nice as you're in and out and on your way to work. You have places to go, things to do, and it's the best coffee, Seattle's best. Fresh bagels, fresh donuts every morning, and, of course, the lattes, up to 14 flavors or even more at this point. Lattes that are just delicious. Check them out at Daylight Donuts in the village of New Hartford.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, let's do our free money question of the day. It comes from the Hobeika Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobeika. Every day of this time, chance to win $100 and a whole bunch of other stuff that mixes in here. Mike is in Utica, ready to take a shot. Hi, Mike. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. Good morning. I think you'll pull this off. It's worth $100. Are you ready?
I hope so.
All right. All right. Be a little more positive. You must be positive.
I'm ready.
Yes,
I'm ready.
going to. They say if you want it, write it on the wall or write it on a piece of paper and put it on the wall.
Make sure it's a erasable marker, though.
Yeah, very important. Okay, here we go. Jimmy Carter was Georgia governor number 76. He was U.S. president number what? Ready, go.
40th.
You were doing your math. You were doing your math, and you were very, very close. The 40th president. The 40th president was Ronald Reagan.
Oh, 39.
39. Yeah. Ooh, 39.
Son of a gun, I was going off. I know I was doing the math.
Yeah, you were close. You were very close. I will give you. We have comedians this weekend at Fat Cats Comedy Club, both Friday and Saturday. I'll give you a table for 6. Be a great show.
You got a movie star coming, don't you?
That's coming up down the road as well. I'll talk about that. Dave Colombo and Laura High, they're actually married, and they are on the road. Great comedy. She's huge on TikTok. My wife loves TikTok. Okay, Mike, we'll give you that. Table for 6. Fat Cats Comedy Club. For details, go to fatcatscomedyclub.com. And the Utica All-in-One Food and Fun Card. A $25 gift card at any of the restaurants connected to the Comets. That includes Adirondack Bank Center Concessions and Nexus Concessions, Aquavino, now in New Hartford, Babes, 72 Tavern and Grill, the Tailor and the Cook, all of those, and that'll be mailed right to you. So stand by. Davey's going to hook you up.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mike.
Thank you.
Good hearing from you, man. Stand by. Stand by. Happy President's Day.
Thank you.
Did you see that Richard Bowser, is that his name? Richard
Belzer.
I always mix it up. Do you remember when we interviewed him? He had some program that was on, and we had him on the air here probably 2 or 3 years ago. Maybe it was 3 or 4 years ago. Do you remember I had said, I always thought you were Bowser from Sha-Na-Na.
Right.
And he said, I get that. I don't really appreciate it.
Yes.
He was angry.
I don't get it.
I don't either. He looks just like the guy. Remember
I
thought
the
it
old
was Sha-Na-Na show?
I thought it was a confusion on Belzer Bowser, not a lookalike.
No, it's the look I always thought, and then the name is so close, I'm like, it must be him. Richard Bowser from Shanana versus Richard Belzer. Okay, enough of that. Katie Aiello is in. She's on the Common Council. Very interesting that the Democratic Party would not nominate an incumbent, and that's exactly what has happened to you. Good morning, Katie Aiello. Thanks for coming on. By the way, for those on YouTube, we're doing close-ups this morning. We'll see. We'll see if it works. Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning. Thanks for the heads up with that, too.
Yeah. Just remember you're on TV. Okay. What is going on here?
So it's interesting how you lead off with that I was not the endorsed candidate, because I think that's part of what I wanted to speak on, is that as of January 21st, I was told that I was. And that's what's interesting to me. So I met with the executive committee on January 21st. You know, I bring in all my spreadsheets and I talk about the district and what I look to do forward to doing next year. And it was generally a good conversation with almost everybody in the room.
Yeah.
And then a couple hours later, I get a text saying, you have the endorsement. Well done. Thumbs up. By Monday, I was given my petitions.
Well, it would make you kind of feel like you don't have to work anybody on the committee.
Right. So that's kind of, you fast forward to February 9th, and we go to the whole citywide committee meeting. And when I walked in, I see my now opponent, Morella, there, and her fiance, Russ, which was immediately kind of a red flag to me because they're not on the committee. So obviously I knew what was happening. But I went up to a couple people and I said, well, what is this? And then they said, well, it turns out your endorsement's actually just a recommendation now. And I said, okay. And they said, so you'll have to screen again. This time in front of the whole city, but still, at this point now, it comes down to just my district's committee votes, which was about 8 of them that showed up.
So you screened in front of the executive committee, or you did
on January 21st?
Okay.
Yes.
So you did that, and now you're in front of the entire committee.
Now, yes.
Yep. Okay.
Because they had to, do everything.
Sure.
And then, so we both get up, we speak, we sit down. I think you already mentioned this on air, but it was, is there a nomination for Katie Aiello? It was pretty silent. One woman did speak up and say, she nominated me, but I didn't even bother seconding because I knew we didn't have the votes and what was about to happen. So then they said, is there a nomination for Morella Pecmez? And they all voted her in to be endorsed, which I do want to emphasize. Nothing changes. I'm still running.
Yeah, okay.
The primary is June 27th. But it's very interesting to me, and this is why I'm talking about this. It's less about Russ and Morella, but more the questions of what happened in those 2 weeks. Why was it silent? Why was there a secret about it, even up to the very second it happened? And approaching some of the people afterwards, trying to find out more, it's been hard to get answers.
Yeah. What is the timeline of, how does the money play in?
Sure. I think
and the timeline.
That's me just kind of explaining. This is last February, at the end of last February.
So it's a year ago.
Yep. So that's kind of where I really got to know Russ and Morella. But it was, we had the ARPA funds, and they had their property on Bleecker Street that they really cared about, wanted to renovate. They were very persistent in asking. I kept trying to
They wanted a portion of the ARPA fund.
Right, and this is about each district was given $200,000 to do how they see fit with their constituents for the area.
Yeah.
So for my district in the first ward, I had public meetings, I had surveys, I did online forums of all these ways that we were taking community input. And I kept reemphasizing with them that I don't think that this will go to a personal building, but I did work with them to either send them National Grid grants. Like, there are a lot of opportunities out there, but this isn't part of that. So then on a separate day, Russ comes into my coffee shop, gives me an envelope of cash. And I was like, what is this? And he said, it's for coffee. So I get his coffee. And then he leaves the change all there. And
how much money was in there?
It was $500. So then I start.
You run a Starbucks? Just kidding.
Yeah. My God, yeah, exactly. And then so he's sitting there. I do a couple pay it forwards because I'm like, what would this be? I don't exactly know. And then I bring it back to him, and he insists that I keep it. I said no. I leave my shop for a moment. When I come back, the money is stuffed behind my coffee bar, and I held on to it for a month trying to wait to see him again, but he never came back. So I sent it back. I just made a money order and said, Character Coffee's not accepting donations. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Because I don't know. It just seemed strange if somebody's lobbying for funds to also receive that. I'm not pointing if that is the connection, I don't know. I'm not accusing
There
him.
was never a time where he said to you, "Here's money, to encourage you to give us the funding." Or,
It was not explicit to that.
Yeah.
And I will say there were like notes left in my shop of him consistently asking about the money, the ARPA funding. So I say this part because once.
So there were repeated asks for the money.
Oh, yes, from both
Okay.
Morella and
All
Russ. So once I send this back, that's when I start seeing the Facebook posts and everything of it's time to switch the council. New people in leadership is coming, which is politics. That's fine. You can run for any reason.
Right.
And
right.
so I say all that to say I was expecting a primary. I wasn't expecting the committee, though, to do what they did in their full
to not
support.
endorse you. Was there ever a time the two of you talked about the money after that? Did you ever ask, what is this money for? Did he ever say to you what the money was for?
No.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Do you have a copy of the money order?
Yes, I do.
All right.
And she has a copy of notes.
Yeah, I have all
and-
the texts, all the
the notes asking for
in
the
the order
money
of
and
events
all of
and-
that.
And
Okay.
I can't say that Russ left them, but you are claiming that Russ left them. I mean,
He's even admitted to that.
All right, and then we did get a response.
yeah. So, I've got questions coming in here as well. So, do you want me to read this whole thing? It is lengthy. I'll get into this and we'll see where this
I
goes.
wish he would
guess.
come on the air as opposed to us reading a statement. But
I'll reach out to him. Where he starts though, I need to get into this because he says this is how it starts. I'm not sure why Katrina Aiello, aka Katrina Martin Aiello, aka Katie Martin, aka Katie Martin Aiello, spelled differently on Aiello, continues to attack me. Miss Katie Aiello is making very false claims against myself, friends, and chair members. I want to get into this. There's an allegation that you steered money toward your mother's building, but
I don't even understand this because my mother owns no buildings in Utica.
so the claim is,
Or my family owns
what was
nothing
that
in
busy corner down there, Genesee Street?
My coffee shop's in 171 Genesee Street.
Right next to you, is that the building that was redone? or-
Westwood.
Westwood. Who owns that? It's
Anessa Carbone.
Anessa
Not my
Carbone?
landlord.
Right. And is there
My landlord's Christine Martin and Ed Schmidt. This is a separate conversation, but
he's alleging that you're related to Christine Martin or the daughter of
no,
Christine Martin?
my married name was Martin. Even my ex-husband isn't related to this person. And even so, my landlord's never received a dime of outside funding to renovate their building. So
this claim that basically you steered funding toward your mother's building, she doesn't own the building, you don't have a relationship there.
no, and I've never steered funds like that for anybody.
Her latest attack against me was to go on social media and claim I bribed her, which could not be further from the truth. As you can see, the bribe she's referring to was over a year ago, which I left monetary donation to pay it forward to any patron who walked into her coffee shop. She's failing to include her own signed letter thanking me for the gesture of kindness. This was done during COVID at a time when many small businesses were feeling the effects of a slowing economy. I've been very blessed through the hard work to give back to the community any way I can. There was no different, as she obviously agreed at that time. Had Mrs. Katie Martin Aiello felt it was anything other than a kind gesture, she should have just said something a year ago or filed a complaint last year, which she is required to do by law. Again, there's a frequent theme in here claiming that basically you are the daughter of Christine Martin and that you had steered
Right.
again to put an end to this. He
That's
also
not a
sent
thing.
an
But
affidavit
it was
here.
also 2022. It wasn't COVID, I would say, at that point. But yes, go on.
I want to pull this up here because this is a certificate of acceptance for the Republican Party for Katrina Martin.
Right. I can explain all that too. These are posts from 2019 because he does get into residency claims and all this, saying I lied on the stand, which is not true. He's talking about when I first ran for office in 2019, I did not live in the district yet. When you run, it's based on where you intend to live. Obviously, my opponent at the time took me to court to try and kick me off the ballot. That judge, the local one, who did rule against me, even said, though, himself that he believes there was no malicious intent in what I did. There was no,
But you don't have to live in the district in order to run, do you?
Not to run.
If you
No,
win,
you could
have
be
to.
in Florida and run here.
If you win, you have
Then
to
that's
move
where it
into
is.
the district.
So he just said, because, it was in the footprint at the time. It was Brett Truitt's property. But Brett was trying to fix up the place anyway, and I needed a place. So fast forward to...
So the brick building with the pink house,
Yes.
which became notorious or famous in the city of Utica.
Yes.
That was where you listed an address?
Yep.
Okay, where do you live now? You don't have to give the exact, but
Right near the museum.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, hold tight, Joe. I know you wanna pipe in here. Can you wait through the news here for me?
Yeah.
Okay, stand by. Just hold, and we'll get to you. So we have some comments online, some comments on the phone.
Is that Joe Load?
That
is he
Joe
going to
Load.
plug Character
Yeah.
Coffee?
I'm sure he is.
I do. Yeah.
Hold on, I'm going to get to you as well, and let's just break through this, and we'll continue on the other side.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
This is a Fox News alert. President Biden makes a surprise trip to Ukraine. I'm Dave Anthony.
This is really the most important visit or the whole history of Ukraine-U.S. relationship.
That's President Volodymyr Zelensky standing next to the president, who says his visit shows
democracy stands. The Americans stand with you, and the world stands with you.
Days before the one-year anniversary of Russia's invasion.
But Russia's aim was to wipe Ukraine off the map. Putin's war of conquest is failing.
And the president detailed more American aid that'll be coming. He has since departed Kyiv, going to Poland, where he was supposed to fly tonight from Washington, but he left unannounced yesterday.
Spending about 5 hours on the ground here. There was some speculation he might try and come, but keep in mind, other presidents have visited war zones before, but often U.S. troops were on the ground. The U.S. controlled the airspace. Not the case here, so certainly risky. He made 2 stops at least, the presidential palace where he met with Ukraine's President Zelensky, and also St. Michael's Monastery behind me, where the two walked around and then laid a wreath in memoriam of some of the Ukrainian soldiers who've died in this war.
Fox's Steve Harrigan. The president will make a speech about our support for Ukraine tomorrow in Warsaw. Russian leader Vladimir Putin will also make a speech tomorrow as his military pushes a new offensive in eastern Ukraine and may be getting help. China's top diplomat is in Moscow today, amid reports China may send Russia weapons to use in the war. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with that foreign minister over the weekend and tells ABC's This Week.
It was important for me to share very clearly with Wang Yi that this would be a serious problem.
They're still looking for the gunman in Memphis in 2 shootings early yesterday that left 1 person dead, 10 injured. There was also a shooting late last night in New Orleans at a Mardi Gras parade. 1 person was killed, 4 injured. A suspect there is in custody. America's listening to Fox News.
Dell Technologies President's Day business event starts now with deals to power America's doers and dreamers. Save on select performance business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for President's Day deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
And now a small business setback. Set to smooth jazz.
It's late. You're driving in the rain with only one thing on your mind. The deer about to total your HVAC van. But with Progressive's 30-plus customizable coverage options, you're covered. The rest is just saxophone.
When running your small business gets rough, Progressive Commercial is there to smooth it out. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Twinkly sound.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage and discounts not available for all vehicles or states. Policy terms and conditions apply.
Mostly cloudy skies, 39 degrees. WIBX News Time is 8:03. This news update is brought to you by My Carl's President's Day sale. Keep more presidents in your pocket. Historic deals on all in-stock furniture. All in stock with easy, no credit needed financing. Only at My Carl's Furniture, New Hartford Shopping Center, and now open in Destiny, USA. A fire on Whitesboro Street in Utica has left at least a dozen people temporarily displaced. Fire crews responding to a home on Whitesboro Street Saturday. 1 resident was treated for smoke inhalation. No word yet on what caused the fire. The American Red Cross is helping to meet the immediate needs of those who have been displaced. State police say a wrong-way driver was responsible for causing a crash that led to a lengthy delay on the state thruway yesterday. The driver of an SUV was going westbound in the eastbound lane on the highway between exits 37 and 38 in Salina. Their vehicle ended up hitting a tractor-trailer head-on. The SUV driver, who has yet to be identified, was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. The tractor-trailer driver was not hurt. No word yet on why the SUV was headed in the wrong direction. A Syracuse man facing an attempted murder charge after a shooting that stemmed from a workplace dispute. Onondaga County deputies say 40-year-old Orlando Oselmo shot the 35-year-old victim at a warehouse on Steelway Boulevard in Clay on Friday. The person who was shot was taken to a hospital to undergo surgery. No information has been released about their condition. Oselmo was arrested at the scene and sent to the Onondaga County Justice Center. Local gas prices down a bit over the past week. According to AAA's gas gauge, the average price for a gallon of regular fuel in the Utica Row market now down to $3.50 a gallon today. That's down a penny from yesterday and 4 cents over the past week. Our neighbors in Syracuse paying a nickel less at $3.45. Statewide, the average is $3.49 a gallon. And those flying out of Albany International Airport today should definitely get there at least 2 hours early. Officials say over 4,600 passengers are expected to be at the airport throughout the day. That would be an increase of roughly 400 from yesterday and a high number in general for the airport. Travelers should also check on the status of their flight with airlines about possible cancellations or delays. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast calling for mostly cloudy skies, some rain shower chances late this morning or early afternoon, a high of 43 degrees. Mostly cloud. We could also see wind gusts of up to 25 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy skies tonight, a low of 25. Tuesday, a chance of rain showers and snow showers before noon. Rain later in the day with a high of 41. Cloudy with a high of 32 Wednesday. Some snow, freezing rain, and sleet all before 8 a.m. on Thursday is expected. Thursday's high 35. Chance of snow Friday with a high of just 18. Right now, cloudy skies and 39 degrees at 8:06.
All right, let's go right back into Katie Aiello, the council person with the city of Utica, who is saying that, I don't know what you're saying. Are you saying it's a bribe, that someone tried to bribe you?
Never said that word. I'm just listing out the order of events.
He's saying it was a
Right.
pay it forward, but you're saying that.
That's how I phrased it when I sent it back. I don't know what it was. For all I knew, it was a test.
But
I
you
don't
also
know
said
it,
that he didn't. He told you it wasn't a pay it forward at one point.
Right. He told me to keep it.
Right. It was for you.
It's for
That's
you.
for you.
So
you're not alleging that it's a bribe?
It's
Okay.
a very specific definition of that. I don't know what
What
this
else
is.
would it be?
I'll let the people decide. That's kind of where this is just, I'm going to
Okay.
lay out this, and it's
how
for
do you
people to know.
connect? How do you connect this to the Democratic committee? I guess.
Just-
and there's a year in between this, and you do have a pretty controversial. The Complete Streets has been controversial,
Yeah.
so there's I guess plenty of reason why maybe
Sure.
someone might be upset with you over Complete Streets and decided not to
Absolutely.
endorse
I think
you.
there's plenty of reasons to prefer a different candidate over
Okay.
me. I
If
am
you're
running.
not, then if you're not saying it's a bribe, why are you talking about it?
I think it's it points to, I think once, either way, take out the cash factor out of this. Once they didn't get ARPA funding, their whole tune changed about why they're running. And for this building to get renovated, of just the community aspect that they wanted, the community center they wanted to turn it into. So now we fast forward to now, and my opponent Marilla, she registered to vote in May. This is all things that were geared towards running.
But that
based on this
happens,
moment.
right? Doesn't that
It
happen
does,
with-
absolutely.
where someone is angry over something personal and they decide, you know what, I'm going to run for that seat.
Yeah.
So that is just
That's totally fine.
kind of the American.
But then you fast
way.
forward to, I was given the endorsement.
Okay.
I don't know what happened in 2 weeks between that executive committee and then my district's committee, especially after all I've done, even with Emily Raymond's on there, Lucretia Hunt, worked very hard with them throughout the year.
Mhm.
It was a shock, I suppose. And I don't
But
know what happened in those conversations after my
Okay.
experience with them, too.
All right. I guess I'm confused as to, are you trying to, why the money story is even out here? If and why did you wait a year to bring it out? Obviously, now they're running against you. But you're saying you're not implying something. But if you aren't implying something like a bribe,
I think it's indicative of when they found out they weren't getting ARPA funding, and then they started running. But it was this kind of, the pattern of experience that I had with it was kind of aggressive and intimidating. So then I don't know. It leaves room to question the committee of if this was done with me. And fast forward
Did members of the committee know about the $500?
Members of the executive committee, I can say, did. I thought members of the committee did, but I don't.
You told members of the executive committee?
Yes, I told a lot of people. People say, why didn't this come up sooner? It did. People weren't listening then.
Okay.
So, yeah, you go through that.
What was the response from the executive committee?
I think a lot of people, when I tell the story locally, it's kind of not many people see it as an issue. And that's just politics. Okay, you send it back, so on and so forth.
Could it have been a $500 donation to your campaign?
I wasn't running then, but...
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you still would have a campaign, even
but
if it was a year ago.
then that would have had to have been Yeah.
That would have definitely would have had to have been documented. But you returned it anyway.
Right. But I think because the committee's being silent, even after that, it leaves room for these questions of what were the intent. And
all right. Joe Lode on the topic. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. I just feel like it's bringing up things that are putting, doubt or adding question to what the real story is. One person wants to run against the other. But I also think it's a typical Democratic thing here, and this is a pattern we see. So, I mean, it's just, to me, one doesn't have anything to do with the other. If you should have kept the money, as far as I'm concerned, and said, thanks, have a great day, and paid it forward. But I wasn't there to make the call, and I just think it's being brought up now to basically muddy the waters, so to speak.
Okay, first of all, the line about the Democrats, there has been corruption in both parties. So to be fair,
I just had to sneak it in, yeah.
Okay. However, I noticed how you did that. That was good. To be fair, that's all I'm saying. So are you saying that Katie is? I think clearly you're throwing this out now, as Joe is saying.
It's a muddy the waters kind of thing, and to bring up questions that maybe shouldn't have been brought up. I think that's the way I feel about it.
Okay, all right. So you feel
I'm not part of either party. I'm just saying, if it was a year ago and then you brought it up a year later, I've seen that in the past where people do things and you're like, well, why'd you bring it up now? It's just, I don't know. I think it's too little, too late. But.
Okay, all right. Okay, Joe. Thank you.
And let the people decide, right? In the long run.
Well, that'll end up happening. Yeah. At the primary. Okay, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
Have no plugs today. Not a single plug. I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know you.
Just listen. Just so you know, I'll be at the White Lake Inn today from 3 to 6. It's Brian's son who died on a snowmobile. They have a
terrible.
Memorial. Father Sean O'Brien's doing the memorial service.
Awesome.
So if you're in the area, stop on by to the White Lake Inn and see Father Sean and pay homage to a good kid that died, on a snowmobile, and it's a sad thing. But
well, we certainly did not mean to be laughing when you mentioned that. We had no idea that's what you were going to say.
No, I know. I get it, because I'm just the plug king, but sometimes I do things for good, and I'm not taking any money for this, just so you know.
I understand. As opposed to the others?
Right. Well, sometimes you do take money.
Dear God. All right, I'm hanging up on you. All right, say goodbye.
All right, so
goodbye, Joe. I don't know where he's going there, but I think he's correct in saying you're bringing this up now for political reasons. It's a campaign.
People
you didn't
keep
get
wanting
endorsed.
to focus on the cash part of it. I want to focus on the committee part of it. So that's fine.
Well, then I don't know.
It's backroom politics. That is the point of this for the 2 weeks, and that's why I'm running to create a different.
But to think that people aren't going to focus on the cash.
So then,
is
are
being
we
naive.
mad at some people? I've been approached that people are mad that I said it, but I'm like, why aren't you mad by what happened? And this is for people to decide.
I would rather hear you say, he gave me $500 because he wanted to sway me to, which by the way, $500 isn't that much.
Sure.
I mean, it's a lot, but it's not that much.
I think when you're asking for federal funds, though, I was very uncomfortable by it.
Yes, so I understand that, but I would rather you be committing to that, but you aren't. You're kind of stepping back and saying, I'm not calling it a bribe. Well, what is it then? What was the $500?
Let the people decide, and if it's nothing, then it's nothing.
All right.
So I reached out to Mr. Pelly on Friday for a statement response from him, and I did read the first half of it. I want to get into this part right here.
He says, by the way, which you might not have heard, he says it was a pay it forward thing. You say he told you said you thought it was pay it forward, which somebody puts down money and you just buy everybody coffee. But he told you, no, that's for you.
Right.
And at the same time, he's asking for the ARPA funding. So one would jump to a conclusion, was that money given to me so that I would would favor you when it comes to the ARPA funding.
I don't know, but after that, he ended up wanting to run, so that was.
And now they're running against you.
His fiance, yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is the second part of his statement. Perhaps Mrs. Ayala was upset with me because she thinks I was behind her failed attempt to get endorsed. That could not be further from the truth. She was not endorsed because her constituents were upset with her decision to transform Genesee Street into one lane. They were upset why she was so adamant about spending $2 million on a skate park that wasn't even in her district. They were upset about spending over $200,000 on art murals near her coffee shop when it could have been done for free in a collaborative community effort. They were upset about the lack of communication about her role in her family and friend receiving $950,000 grant to renovate the building, which her own coffee shop sits, then receiving $25,000 for her coffee shop in Rome, New York, with all the other little perks. They were upset about the fact that she committed perjury on the stand and lied about living in the district, which I have included in this email, proof that she could not and did not live in the first ward, as she claimed on Lafayette Street. We still have no idea where she is claiming to reside to this day. She refuses to address any of the concerns of the voters, chooses to cyberbully and continue the pattern of lying and deceiving the public. This is why she was not endorsed. You can throw mud, dirt, tantrums, kick her feet, cry to mommy. None of it will change the facts, and the facts are that we want better. So that was how his statement concluded. I'll let you respond to that.
I would like to hear.
There's a lot to respond to there.
There is. I'm ready, though.
Okay.
For one, I want to hear from the committee why I wasn't endorsed, because they could have also chosen to just not endorse.
Right.
And, okay, the Complete Streets thing, people on my own committee liked it. Lucretia Hunt, we were at the East Utica Neighborhood Association meeting. She was expressing that she liked it. My constituents do. I know it's controversial overall. I took a risk. I believe in just working for what the term you have now and doing what was based on the stats and already in our policies.
Okay.
Anyway, fast forward to the skate park. That wasn't, while I advocate for the skaters and I love what they do, I never chose the $2 million to go there. I'm helping take that information to the skaters and facilitate these community conversations so they can decide how it'll be. That was not my decision at all. The art murals, he keeps saying that $200,000 for the ARPA funding went to the murals. That is also not true. The only thing it's been spent on so far is a speed sign over on State Street as we prepare for the hospital to come. And
the building, I believe the building he's referring to is the Sunburst,
yes,
right? Mural
that
that's
is
going to be redone?
Done because, not just for cosmetic reasons, but the wall itself was falling. So it had to be repaired, which means it's going to be covered up. And that was not through ARPA money. I think it's the SAM grant. So again, that's also completely
Yeah,
separate
I seem to
situation.
recall there was grant money that was coming from the state or maybe it was federal grant money. I forget what it was, but that's it. So what you're saying is, while you advocated for that, that has not come from this funding at all.
No,
okay,
not at all.
All right.
I don't have a coffee shop in Rome. I did not accept ever any outside money. I had a business loan that I paid off on my own. I did not lie on the stand. We talked about this. That trial that he's talking about was from 2019. The local judge ruled against me. I lost my ballot lines for a moment. We appealed the case. I go to Rochester. There's 5 judges. All unanimously vote and agree with me to get my ballot lines back, that there was no wrongdoing.
Okay.
They appeal that appeal. So
and the wrongdoing that was implied was that you didn't, but you don't have to live in the district until after you win.
Right.
Okay.
And then it was, then they appeal the appeal, so we go to Albany. There's 7 judges, and they all also agree with me too. So at this point, we now have 12 judges who. So that's just semantics. But other than that, he's also claiming.
So
$950,000 for the family and friend.
I can't keep up with this. We can go.
Well, right, because there's a lot of stuff being thrown out there. You do not have any business in Rome.
No. I was looking to open up a place with my then employee. Council got busy. I could not handle another location. It's his dream. He took off with it. So super official. Shout out to them. If you're in Rome, that's a great
So
shop.
you have no
affiliation
with it. It's someone who used to work for you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I think this is in reference to Christine Martin, who owns the building on the corner there. You're not related?
No, not at all.
You weren't related?
Nope.
And did
you
you
have a lot of names that you're like, I know the Ayalas from Herkimer. You're not related to them either.
No, mine are from Rome.
Yeah.
Are you from Herkimer or Rome?
I'm from Herkimer. My dad's from Rome.
Okay.
I'm Kelliger's from Herkimer. Anyway.
I'm completely. There's a lot here. There's a lot here that people. You're like a magnet, and there's a lot of.
It's confusing, but it's interesting to me. This is a part of politics that I do want to talk about and bring to light. A lot of times we don't see any of it. It's just behind the curtain, no debate, and just sometimes decisions are made and everybody's like, oh, okay. But
yeah. Would you agree, though, that so if the $500, whatever it was, occurred a year ago, and now a year later, you've had, the Complete Streets has been controversial. I'm just saying. And these people may very well be angry because they didn't get the funding. And you now mentioned that they were going to turn it into a community center, which would benefit the entire community, which would make it eligible for that ARPA funding, if that's what they were going to do with it. Would you agree with that?
Not with what we were doing with the $200,000 for the district.
Okay.
I said it was supposed to be something that had the whole public could access to.
Okay.
At all
well, a
times.
community center, though.
Yes, it was. So, and I'm so for the Latino Center, but at that point, I was told that the Latino Center was looking at a whole different spot. So I know Russ was advocating for it there and Morella. And then by March 30th, he makes a change.org site for the Bosnian Cultural Center. I'm told by Baca at the time that they were not interested in that spot.
Baca is the Bosnian American fill in the CA for me.
All right.
Yeah.
Cultural
so
Association.
it was just, there was a pattern of, they say it's for that. Either way.
Okay.
It
All right.
wasn't what the actual community was looking to do.
So this happened a year ago. The money thing happened a year ago, whatever that was.
Sure.
Now it's a year later, and you probably should have, if you thought that was a bribe to lure you or push you or encourage you to give them money, why wouldn't you have come forward then? Because that
I did.
You did come forward.
Yeah. I don't want to make it now that it's out there that they're running, she's running, whatever the motives are, we'll find out. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But
clearly you're making it you're making it more public now because she's running against you. And
I'm making it more public because of what happened in 2 weeks between that committee of I'm endorsed.
Okay.
Never mind. Just kidding. It magically is now hers after I don't know what her record is.
So the money, so we really should separate the money from your argument at this point.
I think it's still, they gave it to me.
So you think the money is relevant because it shows that they may...
were other donations made?
It maybe shows about their character, no pun intended.
Were other donations made to other members on the committee?
So that's where we're going.
Whether it's public services.
Now you're asking, was there money, was there cash given to someone else, maybe someone on the Democratic committee?
We don't know.
Okay. That is ambiguous as the questions that he's asking. Does she live here?
No, mine actually. His is not ambiguous. Those are just disprovable facts.
Okay, but you don't have anything. You don't have any evidence that any money was
and
given
that's the problem
to
because it
committee
came
member.
so out of the blue. No, of course not. I don't know that.
Okay,
but
so with that, all right,
this is just the order of events. If
I
people
understand.
don't care about it. That's
I
fine.
understand.
That's
I'm just trying to. Thank you. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that somebody said, the executive committee can recommend, but they do not endorse. What is your understanding of that?
Okay, then I don't know why everybody else it went through and there weren't any. I don't think there were votes per person, because Bob Burmaster's endorsed. We had Venice Irvin and all this, but yeah. So I don't know why they said I was endorsed and then why they brought me petitions.
But what you're saying though is at one point they told you you're good.
Yes,
you're going
I
to
can
be
show
endorsed.
you the text.
Yeah. So
and everything I'm stating today is very well documented.
I understand.
And that's
So, but at some point from there to the full committee, the decision was we're not going to endorse her.
Right.
And it very well
there was
could be
no debate, no conversation.
Okay.
I don't know if it's about Complete Streets. They don't communicate that. This is how the committee functions. My first ward committee is made up of 15 people. Only 6 of us actually live in the district. It can be from whatever. That night, it was about 8 of us, though.
My only thought on this is that I understand you say that it's what he's said about you in this statement is disprove. You can disprove all of it, which you have, and I think you've done a very good job. But at the same time, you're throwing things out there that you cannot prove. You're not willing to say it was a bribe. You have no evidence that anyone on the committee
I'm proving the order of events.
I understand.
So
but
people can make. I'm biased in this. I have my beliefs.
you certainly are. But what you're implying here, as Joe had said, is kind of muddying the water. You're throwing something out there that you can't prove. Isn't that just as wrong as what he's doing to you, things that he can't prove about
No,
you?
I would like more answers from the committee. This is what this is. This is me
Okay.
asking for a call to action of where do people lie and why,
Okay.
and why have people been quiet?
Yeah.
I've done a lot for the district this past
One
year.
thing we've learned about politics, though, I think we can all agree on, is when someone looks you in the face and says, "You've got my vote," that is not worth there's zero value to that, right? Because a lot of people don't want to tell you, "I'm not going to vote for you."
Sure.
So they'll tell you to your face and then turn around and vote
But
behind
I
your
wanna
back.
say, like, I've done a lot for the district this year, as far even people on the committee, whether it's the East Utica Neighborhood Association meetings, the West Utica, our code citations are up 20%, and that's not just trying to cite people and find them. We're also, out of all the exterior renovations done and those $25,000 grants given out this past year, my district received 35% of it because that's why I hustled and said, "Hey, you need this done. Let's get you to apply." I've gone.
There are
on
others. There are others that would look at it like, "Can you believe code citations are up by 30%?"
But they have quick
This
turnaround.
is terrible.
I know,
Right.
but they have quick turnaround.
Depends on who
and
you're talking to. Who's your audience?
Our codes officers are really great at working with the constituents of saying, "Okay, let's get this right. Not just to fine you, but let's make sure the solution's there." I go on every clean sweep. I'm in City Hall weekly, working with the departments. I was in Business Insider this year, advocating for Utica and to move to places like it. I've done a lot, and from what I had heard, my committee had liked me and supported me up until that night in front of the whole city committee. Otherwise,
So clearly something must have happened.
that's all. Yeah.
And just one more question here, and I think this is a good point that was raised. To your understanding, is the committee under any obligation to explain who they endorsed and why, and why, not wide?
I mean, I guess they don't have to, but I think
just
as
didn't
far
know
as like a
if there was
committee-
some legal obligation.
No,
Somebody
and
raised
I
the
don't
question.
know.
I think it's a good
I
one.
remember going back to the executive committee. I can't say everybody liked it. I know Jack LaMedico, for whatever reason, wouldn't look at me, wasn't about the conversation. Everybody else seemed to get, and I don't know. We can ask Jack. I just haven't been able to. And then you go to my actual committee, which is made up of his girlfriend, Emily Raymond, his son. There are these connections of, that's the only thing that I can point to of maybe there was something sour that switched it. Whatever. It doesn't matter with the endorsement. I don't think my
A lot of these
constituents care,
endorsements,
but-
does it really matter that you did a lot of work and you advocated? At the end of the day, local politics is all about personalities and relationships.
Well, then I would be curious to
Right.
see what they
Yeah.
like in my opponent and hear more about what it is they're looking
Have
for.
you asked the committee? Have you asked for an explanation, like what happened?
I did. I presented. Yes, I'm told a few things. It's either I think part of it is I don't know if I'm their pick for whoever they think the next mayor is going to be to work with on the council. I'm pretty independent. I'm willing to listen to everybody. I just need facts and source. I'm just not a go along to get along person.
Yeah.
I'm told there's probably a few vendettas from the inside the Democratic Party, but I don't have proof of anything.
What are the vendettas? What have you?
I don't.
Did you
this is
have you
just-
done something to anger Frank Miola?
No, I think we actually worked together pretty well.
Frank
this past
Miola
year.
is the Democratic chair. right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to point to that specifically. You look at when I bring up Jack LaMedico, him and his girlfriend, Emily Raymond, who's a constituent of mine, I've done living room chats at her house for neighborhood meetings. We talked about the ARPA funding. I've answered just about every call I could. We went on a ride along throughout the neighborhood of houses and issues that she had problems with codes. And like I was very, very present for. But after around the school board election, when he lost that, I feel like the whole relationship changed. And they'll say it isn't about that, I suppose. I don't know. But these are just kind of contexts and pieces to it of I'm not their pick, and that's fine. I just don't know why Morella is and why it was a secret. So that's just interesting to me.
So, what's the tie-in with Jack LaMedico, former city councilman, ran for school board? He didn't win election. You said it kind of changed after that. What's his role in this?
He was on the executive committee.
Okay.
So then we go to just my district committee,
okay,
which is his girlfriend, Emily, and that relationship soured, which is fine. That happens too. This is just, I think it's a fascinating part. I don't think a lot of people realize how people get on the ballot, how they even get endorsed and why, what these committees are made up of. I think there's a lot more. If people care about this process, they should look to get on their party committee and be a part of that.
From a let's just take this from a standpoint of what's the end goal. So the end goal would be that you win the primary.
Yeah.
Assess yourself here. This issue from when you released the video, which was what, Friday, to
Thursday night,
to the conclusion of this interview. Do you think you're helping your case?
Yeah, I think this is something, if I was a voter, I'd want to know. Voters
Okay.
have the right to deserve to know all of these pieces of it and who's
Okay.
running and why and what they believe and who they support and why.
I reached out to Mr. Pelly this morning. He just asked that we run the story and print his statement, and we will do that. And we'll reach out to Frank Miola as well as the chairman of the committee and see if he has any thoughts and wants to react to
And
this.
if I can add, he made a statement that I don't even live in the district now, too. He wasn't just pointing to 2019, but somebody did report my residency to the county DA last month. So I already went through the process. A private investigator showed up unannounced, interviewed me. He's interviewed my family. He came to my coffee shop. That case was closed.
Do you have children?
Yes.
Do they go to Utica schools, or do they go
No,
somewhere
they do
else?
not. I have a split. We're
And
divorced. So
that's probably where I see. That's probably where some of that.
Yeah.
It just seems like a lot of. If I'm a voter, I'm just like, ugh. I want to stay away from this. I'm not even sure I'm going to vote. I don't think I'm going to vote in this race. I really don't.
Well, you live in New Hartford.
Oh, that's true.
That'd be bad if you did.
Thank you. Thank you.
But when
for
I'm going door to door with
clarifying
constituents, this isn't the part that I think comes up. But I think this is a big election year. It really, I think,
It is.
we
There's
should
a
shed
lot.
light on more that's happening
The
than
big
just
mayor's
this
race. Yep, there's a lot going on.
I guess final question, if it is the final question, you endorsing for mayor? And who do you like?
You know what's interesting with this, actually? I hear that I get a lot of kickback because they all said I was in it for Celeste from day one. And it's frustrating because I was very, very specific that I was not endorsing. I was staying out of it. And I said, I don't even want any trouble. And they said, no, it's not like that. You can pick anybody you want before the primary. I think it's wrong. Yeah.
Right.
I
mean,
think it's
that's-
wrong that we should even
right.
pick before a primary.
Right.
And
But I just think the part about if somebody's telling you,
Yes.
go ahead and pick somebody.
Just say
Who are
it.
you going to
Yeah, yeah.
pick? Ah,
Nobody will be
And
offended. They
I
all
told-
got thick skin.
I told both of them I wasn't endorsing. I went to one fundraiser for each
Mhm.
and left it at that. So at this point, it's
Man, you made somebody angry somewhere along the line. If it's Complete Streets or whatever it is, you have angered someone.
I think if-
in the Democratic
Of
Party
course.
in
I
Utica.
mean, we have more opinions than people in Utica. Like, that's to be expected.
Right.
I'm not everybody's
Right.
cup of tea, but I will always speak about what's happening. I will always have sources and proof of what I'm saying. And I'm always just going to listen to the people, and if we can go from there and have that
Yeah.
conversation. So I'm always just trying to be accessible.
All right. I'm still not willing to call it a bribe, though. You're not charging that it was a bribe.
No, people can figure out what, if they don't think it
was-
is, then they don't think it is. But this
Okay.
is just something that
Do
happened.
you think it
That's
is?
what I want to
Do
know.
you think it was?
Thank you.
You're not
Jeff.
saying that, but do you think it was?
You're implying. You're doing a lot of implication
And then
here.
there
I
was the whole
uncomfortable
no.
by it.
What's that?
Yeah, I was uncomfortable by it. I
Was
I
it a-
felt like
was
it
it
was a
a-
pressured situation.
Was it a bribe?
I was.
Was it a bribe? Do you feel it was a bribe?
The
Personally,
reason why I'm getting hung up on this is because I feel like there's just very specific legal definitions of this. You would have to show proof of giving somebody something
listen,
to identify it as.
But
you would
you're
have to-
saying, but listen, $500 was given to you.
Mhm. It never was
and
before.
At the
It's
same time that they were asking for funding, you told us that you were told it was not a pay it forward situation, and that it was for you. Is that, by your definition, you personally, you can have a personal opinion that is not going to, you can have an opinion
I felt like they were trying to pressure me to make a decision to have
to give them
favoritism
money,
with somebody.
which would qualify as a bribe.
Just
So
quick.
they've been.
Just quickly here, I just quickly Googled, just like Don Lemon, check Google. It says persuade someone to act in one's favor, typically illegally or dishonestly, by a gift of money or other inducement. Now, I spoke to Katie on
That is
Friday.
exactly what you're implying.
Yes, and I think the word that's missing from this definition is the word attempt to persuade someone, right?
No, the money was given. The money was given to you.
But
and
it
left
says
there.
persuade someone. She wasn't persuaded, so does that mean it's not a bribe?
Interesting. That
No,
is
no,
part
no,
of
no,
when
I-
I seek. You know, I've.
I don't know the
sucked-
answer to that, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to hear that from you. That's what you are implying by that definition. That's what you're implying. But you don't want to say it.
I don't know
but
what
you're
it
saying
was. I didn't know if it was a test. I didn't know it just didn't feel right.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm not going.
Would the test be? Can you believe she took $500? You know.
I don't know how far back any of this goes or when people change their minds. Either way, there's a lot going on this year. It's exciting, I think, for, primary June 27th. I've been canvassing since I started last election, and I never stopped. Even throughout my whole first year in office, I was going door to door. And I think the constituents it's great to hear from them directly, and they still have safety concerns, code concerns, and that's where I'm there on the front line. I got into this because I was passionate, but now I have the experience and knowledge. And I think we can make even more of a difference in the years to come.
And please understand that this, even though you haven't made an accusation, you've made an accusation, and that is that's a serious accusation.
You are calling it an accusation. I'm laying out the details and letting voters have a right to know these are the order of events, and it's for them to decide.
Then we'll call it. You're making a serious implication. You're implying something very serious, and I feel that warrants a full vetting, and the people will ultimately decide.
Sure.
And we've reached out to.
And I don't think it's
him, and your opponent, and hopefully we'll get the two of them on the radio.
I think it invites the speculation that seats and influence are for sale, and that's why I want the committee to respond if that's the case, because it's not only if that's the case with what he did is true. Are there consequences, and what are they? And it seems like there's not only that there's not consequences, but they're encouraging it. And that's the concern. So I think people who are saying this is muddying the waters or call it dirty politics, I think it's actually the very essence of democracy and protecting it.
Yeah.
And revealing that.
Encouraging what, by the way?
Trying to persuade people.
With money.
Yeah, with whatever pressures. I don't know. Because it's been intimidation, aggression. There's been a lot there.
I mean, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it. That's all.
Same,
right.
Bill.
Okay. All right. Katie Aiello.
Interesting story, at least, right? That's
and speaking of $500, like I always say, hey, news tips taken here. Let's
right,
go, baby.
Yeah. Why does no one ever offer us money? This is terrible.
There it is. But this isn't a comfortable conversation to have, and I feel like
I think this has been a very uncomfortable interview. Personally,
I'm glad to actually be able to speak on it and talk about it more.
I appreciate you coming in and addressing this and then responding to the statement from Mr. Pelley. I also want to say we got several messages over the past 2 weeks that said, will you guys stop talking about complete streets and move on to something else?
Same.
We're getting messages this morning that say, when are you guys going to talk about complete streets again?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Let me.
I love talking about it. So.
We know that. Anyway,
thank you,
Katie,
moving along. Katie Aiello, thank you. 8:37 at WIBX.
I can't take this kitchen any longer. Carl, we need to start looking for a new house.
Honey, you know the housing market is tight. It's going to be next to impossible to find something that we like.
I know, but this kitchen has to go.
Hey, what about a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank? We can turn the equity from our home into cash to renovate, just the way you want.
Renovate?
Adirondack Bank has competitive rates, and they've been a trusted community bank for decades.
A new kitchen. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
Then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the deck, even add a pool, and take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about.
Whoa, slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank about that home equity loan. Then we can decide where to start.
I've always wanted to add on a craft room, and our bathroom needs a facelift.
Don't move. Improve. Stop into your local Adirondack Bank branch for more information on a home equity loan or visit AdirondackBank.com. Bank local with Adirondack Bank, your hometown community bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-230-2777. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-230-2777. 800-230-2777.
Two of the biggest names in floor covering, Inceras and Mohawk, have teamed up to bring you a sweetheart of a deal this month.
All this month, you get the guaranteed lowest price on Mohawk Pergo Extreme and on Mohawk Smart Strand Forever Clean with Nanolock.
Only Inceras Flooring Outlet can give you a 60-mile lowest price guarantee.
Plus, all this month, get 6 months interest-free financing.
That's right, 6 months, same as cash, and a lowest price guarantee.
Bring in any advertised price on the same product and we will meet or beat the price.
Mohawk Smart Strand Forever Clean carpet stays extraordinarily clean, is exceptionally durable, and environmentally friendly.
And Pergo Extreme by Mohawk has a deeper warranty. Industry-leading and worry-free for life. 100% dent-proof, waterproof, kid-proof, and pet-proof.
Two great names in flooring, Mohawk and Inceras Flooring Outlet. Another reason more people buy from the big store. Inceras Flooring Outlet, Route 49 Plaza River Road, Marcy, and online at incerasflooringoutlet.com.
When you order food for work on EasyCater.com, we've got your back. Real humans are here to help with your order every step of the way, making sure everything goes right, even behind the scenes without you knowing. Confirming and double confirming with the restaurant that everything is on track. If there's a problem,
thanks for calling EasyCater.
Call us anytime, day or night, and we'll answer in seconds. We're right here with 100,000 restaurants, working hard to ensure the food arrives on time and is ordered. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
3 people you should be 100% certain about: your barber, your plumber, and your tax pro. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and you can be 100% certain about your taxes. We'll get you your maximum refund guaranteed and we'll back your return for life. Don't be kind of certain or almost certain. Be 100% certain. Switch to Jackson Hewitt today and get 50% off tax prep. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
You have cancer. 3 words you wish you could unhear. But just because a cancer diagnosis may be a shock to your system doesn't mean cancer surgery has to be. Now, there's Edge Radio Surgery. It breaks down tumors in less than an hour per treatment. No knife, no hospital stay. Faster treatments, lower risk. Edge Radio Surgery, now at AMP of New York. Learn more at ampofny.com/edge. You may experience side effects which may be severe. Ask your doctor. Edge Radio Surgery, Associated Medical Professionals of New York is right for you.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They have been your hometown buyer for the last 49 years. Every gold and silver buyer claims to pay the highest prices, but the Potting Shed Antiques have been around for so long because they pay a fair and honest price. Let Don and Nancy take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. Open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Learn more online at thepottingshedantiques.com.
River Hills Properties is the fastest growing real estate company in central New York. And I want to tell you that over the weekend, the River Hills people were at Jimmy Fallon's show. Bill and Robin Monjo were there. There were others there as well, several agents, et cetera, et cetera. And you know what's coming soon? That Jimmy is going to be doing commercials for River Hills coming up.
Get out of here.
Yeah. You'll hear them probably in the next couple of weeks. It'll start happening.
Wow.
Isn't that cool? Because it is a fact that the River Hills way is different. It's something that you get in places like New York City where people don't want you going through your home, having an agent come in with a potential buyer going through the home without someone being there.
I was going to say,
watching the property. And that's the River Hills way. They don't allow that to happen.
I was hoping you were going to say he was going to be an agent because that would mean, again, they show their own homes, he would be up here all the time.
He would be. And it just does seem to be the way. I'm looking around the building wondering who's the next River Hills agent coming out of Town Square Media. Because there are many of them all of a sudden. But the fact is, it's a different way. It's unique in the way that they sell homes. And it's all about, we're there to protect you. They come in from start to finish. helping you, assisting you, lowering the stress level, and protecting your home when your house is being shown. It's a very vulnerable time for a seller. Very difficult time for everybody involved, the buyers, the sellers. There's a lot of stress involved. And the River Hills people come in, and they just remove the stress, take care of it all for you. They work very, very hard for everybody involved. In Barneville, Little Falls, Utica, and online at riverhillspropertiesllc.com, serving the entire upstate New York region. Call 315-896-1009. Remember, nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, I have a lot of, do you have any comments over there? I have a lot of comments on.
Yeah, I do think I got to most of them during the interview. Let's see.
Yes, Jack, the boom mic is blocking her face, and I'm working on that. I've come up with a solution.
Somebody says here, does a boyfriend become part of a campaign? In other words, this is in regard to Russ and Morella. If they broke up tomorrow, wouldn't she still be running as a candidate? Is what somebody said here.
Yeah.
And
again,
most of the messages that came in, I did get to.
I just wish she would have. She's implying a lot.
Yes.
I just wish she'd just come out and say it.
Right.
And if that's what she thought this really was, and I also think that if she thought it was that probably should have been made public. And she says she did, but no one was listening a year ago. The other part is
morning.
I do believe that in politics, the way these committees work, there's a lot of politics in play, a lot of relationships, and it's this one's turn. It's not your turn. You know, people have a lot of gripes about all of that, but that's just for an incumbent though to not get the nomination. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah,
and
it was surprising, right?
It is surprising and worth asking Frank Miola, which we have reached out to.
I will. I have to be clear. I haven't yet, but I will.
Let's get him. I'd like to, what happened, and is it complete streets? Because there are a lot of people on both sides of this, a lot of business owners along that strip who say they weren't consulted, and my guess is there are people that are angry and would like to see her not nominated.
John in Bridgewater said she should have given the money to feed our vets locally.
Oh, that's a good idea. Good idea, John. Rick says, putting the councilwoman's accusation aside for a second, let's consider the accusations from her detractors. If all they say is true in this, as it happened in the past, why are they bringing it up now when they could have brought it up then? This leads me to suspect their goodwill and their honesty. If they thought there was a problem in the past, they should have brought it up then, or else they're part of the problem as well. It makes you wonder, why vote for any of these people? And I think that's kind of, to be honest with you, that's really what I was saying. At this point, if I'm a voter, I'm like, I don't want a part of any of this. This just sounds way too, what would I say? How would I call it? Way too Utica for me. That's how I would describe it. Ugh. Right? I mean, it's just, wow. If this is going on during the nomination process, what goes on during the Common Council meetings? What goes on for decisions that are made? It just does make you wonder, right? Why would anybody want to be a part of it?
I've got an idea for a new sauce. It's a Utica thing, $500 mural. That's what it should be, right? A new flavor of sauce for our guy there.
I like it. Okay, Valerie Sokolowski is the author of the book Do It Right. She is an expert on personal branding and etiquette. Boy, she'd have a field day with us. The question is, and I think she's about to, is tipping getting out of control? And I think COVID played a huge role in tipping. Is tipping getting out of control? Many consumers say yes. Valerie, good morning. What are your thoughts?
Good morning. I've got a lot of thoughts on this.
I'll
bet.
bet.
Yes, it is getting out. It's getting out of control. We are getting screen slammed. That's the best way I can say it.
Well, what do you mean?
Well,
what is that?
I got to say, I've seen more stories recently of someone, like there was a DoorDash person the other day that like took, I'm sorry, you gave me a tip like that. That's terrible. I'm taking your food back.
Which is so out of line.
Really? Is that what you're talking about? Criticisms?
Everyone's
Yeah.
got their hand out. Did COVID have something to do with it? Probably.
Yeah.
Is the economy having something to do with it? Absolutely. And people are, from my research, just darn frustrated because there doesn't seem to be an option. We are just having that screen that comes up saying sometimes starting at not 15% anymore, but 18 or 20%, and then you feel guilty, or a lot of people do, and they just hit a button.
Yeah. You're right. Now it's even, you get, what is it, like 18%. You hit the button. It's 18%, 20%, or it'll even go higher, like to 23%, which, I don't know. I tip way too much always anyway.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I feel like it's doing the right thing, but really guilting people into doing it, I don't like that at all.
You know what drives me nuts, though? I'll go to places like, I will tip, and I always give 20% for service, right? But if you walk into a pizza place and you're just at the counter and you order a slice, there's a tip jar and it says, please support whatever.
Yeah.
But that person's not working off tips. They're getting an hourly wage. Or if you walk into I don't want to name a coffee shop, but I
tip at a buffet. It's terrible. I'm such an idiot.
You walk into a coffee shop and you just walk up and you say, I'll take a medium black coffee, and there's a tip jar there. A tip for what? Ringing me out? I don't get that. That's what blows my mind.
Valerie?
Well, I'll tell you something that blows my mind. I went into a very upscale coffee and pastry shop recently in our area, and the screen was turned around and there was a tip jar. And so I asked and yes, it started, I believe, at 18%, not 15 anymore. Can't find that. Now, here's the good news. On that screen, when someone turns it to you to pay, there is an option, isn't there? You can go to that option and click custom tip, and then you can do what you want to do.
Whatever you want to do. Yeah.
Have you ever? I was just going to say, here's some interesting pieces of information. Baby boomers are the ones that are tipping the most these days. And I talked with a teenager just yesterday because I'm getting a lot of these interviews. And I said, what do you do? And he said, we kids, that's what he said. We kids don't tip. And I said, nothing? No. I said, when you're out with a girl? No.
Well, those kids have. You blame on that one? Not the kid. The parents. It didn't teach the kid anything, right? It's the parents' fault. I do believe though that as kids we were, and they are today, naive. I'll give you an example. My first ever time going to a comedy club in New York City, it had to be like 1990, maybe 1988, somewhere where I'm out of high school, I'm through college, but I'm still young enough not to know. And I'm from upstate New York, right, Valerie? We don't know anything up here. So apparently I go to New York City, I sit down, I have no idea what a 2-drink minimum means. So we got one drink, and I'm thinking that's the end of it. And the waitress came up and argued with me about it. You got to have another. We do it at Fat Cats. There's a 2-item minimum. So you got to order 2 drinks. And I said, well, we have to. I got one for her. I got one for me. And she's like, no, it's 2 for each of you. So she was really quite rude about it. And yes, because I'm an idiot walking in there. I should have known. I didn't. So we got the 2 drinks, and I left her a buck. You go to a bar, you would always leave $1 per drink. And that's even high back then. So I left her a small. She came back to me and said, this is all you gave me, a $3 tip, or it was $4 tip. And I said, yeah, that's what I gave you. And she threw the tip at me, the $4. Yeah.
Well, that's not appropriate.
No, I'm saying.
You should have said, now you got a $0 tip.
And that's exactly right. I put it back in my pocket. And that, thank you for that. That was the 80s, Valerie. And I realize I'm naive. I should have known better. But, the throwing it back at me, that was pretty bold for 1988.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's and pretty disrespectful. And did she even stop to think that now with social media, had it been now when that
Right.
happened, oh my gosh.
She'd have been all over, right? I'd have posted that crap. Yeah. So what do you think we should do? I do see there's a movement of, for instance, if you go to Europe, you'll find many cities you don't tip. It is not something that's expected. It's built into the wage.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think's coming here?
Yeah, that's the issue. But we're not in Europe, and so we've got to deal with it. The sad thing is the way it's being populated out to us as the customer is making people feel obligated, and giving should be something you want to do because you've had good service. Even if, and this is on the restaurant or the coffee owner, if you tell these people behind the counter, when you hand that person the coffee, smile, say, we're so glad you're here, enjoy the coffee.
Right.
Then maybe somebody would be more open to tipping. But there doesn't seem to be any training on that side. And so they just plop the coffee down, and you walk up and you grab the coffee, and there you go.
It's amazing to me how often you can walk into a convenience store or even a grocery store. You can complete the entire transaction and never have the person that is checking you out speak to you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, again, that goes back to parenting. I mean, but at the same time, training. These young kids are not trained to even look at you or to speak to you. And when they do, you want to give a tip, Valerie, and I think that's a great point. You want to give to them because you've had a good experience.
Yeah, my tip is usually read a book. You need to read a book,
that's
kid.
Right. Speaking of that, do you have any books out on etiquette, Valerie? I love that stuff because I break so many rules.
Do It Right is the book on etiquette, and then I've written 8. So the 2 that are on Amazon right now, that's one, and it's good. It really is a good book, even if I wrote it, because it's just tip, all these tips about all these topics. But the other one I want to mention for women is called Monday Morning Leadership for Women.
Okay.
And that one it was fun to write just because I was 2 voices. There was a mentor and a mentee, and they were talking, and the leadership lessons were through their conversation. So I would turn my head at one side, and I'd write from the mentor, and then I'd turn my head and write for the mentee. I recommend that to women.
All right. Great stuff. All available on Amazon. Valerie, thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day.
And you too. Bye for now.
Thanks so much. Valerie Sokolowski. You can look her up on Amazon. In Sarah's Flooring Outlet is the area's leading flooring store for Pergo Extreme and anything when it comes to flooring. If you're looking for flooring, it's the largest inventory in Central New York. Sal has everything over there. And I have to say, when we were looking for flooring, where else would you go? And you're also investing locally, and they take care of you. It was a craftsman who came to our home and installed our hardwood floors. And when it comes to Pergo Extreme, there's a sale going on right now. Take advantage. It's in Sarah's Flooring Outlet and sarahsflooringoutlet.com. And they're located at Route 49 Plaza, River Road, Marcy. Online, of course, in sarahsflooringoutlet.com. Also, Mazda. Their pre-owned vehicles are tremendous, and it's a tremendous value. They have a great stock on the lot. They only select the best and best late model Mazda vehicles that they can offer award-winning Mazda certified pre-owned inspection. It's a 160-point inspection along with a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. It's Ricky Z approved. And as he says, come on in if you need a lower payment and a lower price. Just ask. Let's make your deal on a Mazda certified pre-owned vehicle. And see why the customers always say it's always easy to do business at Steep Pawnee Mazda.
Adirondack Home Furniture is fully stocked from wall to wall with top quality, durable, American-made pieces for any room. With over 40 bedroom and dining room pieces on display and quality sofas starting at $8.99, you're sure to find the pieces to transform your home. And don't forget, Adirondack Home Furniture has more than just rustic pieces. They carry a wide variety of modern, farmhouse, and traditional styles. If you're looking to transform your home or complete a room with a few pieces, now is the time to buy, because at Adirondack Home Furniture, you'll save the amount of the sales tax. Save the amount of the sales tax on any purchase for your living room, bedroom, office, and occasional furniture. All solid wood and American made, including in-stock items, clearance items, and even special orders. Adirondack Home Furniture has the best value and top quality furniture for your home. Visit them at the former Riverside Mall, Horatio Street, Utica, or browse the inventory online at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
How do you sum up 70 years in 30 seconds? The Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida counties has helped nonprofit groups put more than $110 million donor dollars to work over the last 7 decades. Programs, services, people, places, progress. Our 30 seconds are about up,